Seconds. Bird is going to dribble it out. And the Aztecs are going to win today at Viejas. Win number 200 in the career for Brian Dutcher. San Diego State over Idaho State. 73-57.
San Diego State, they've got a week off. 200 wins, 68 losses.
Is that good?
In 8+ years. Yeah, it's very good. The winning percentage is right around 750.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego, Southern California, what's going on? Hour one. Jon and Jim on this Tuesday afternoon with you for the next 4 hours. A lot to get into. Good guests lined up here today as well. We have Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio, back with us on the show. He'll join us in 30 minutes. Then we'll get you ready for San Diego State and Boise State. Could be a wet weekend again. Deja vu all over again for the Aztecs. Potentially, we'll see. Andre Hagverdian covers the Aztecs football program for the East Village Times. He'll join us coming up at 4 p.m. We do want to start the show, but first of all, thank you, veterans. It is Veterans Day.
Yeah,
we are here for you. Thank you for your service to this country, whether you are a veteran or active military member, or of course have made the ultimate sacrifice. We thank you, of course, here in America's finest city. All right, so Bob Nightengale. All right, what? Jim's computer sucks. Bob Nightengale, who is like the king of content for baseball fans and baseball shows like this one, said yesterday he put up a list of like 25 players on social media, 25 players that could be traded this offseason. And among those players was Fernando Tatis Jr. I scoffed at it and thought nothing of it. We didn't even mention it yesterday in 4 hours, but he kind of doubled down on that point today. So we'll get into that, Jim, coming up in a moment. But I mean, I think it's kind of comical. The idea that Fernando Tatis Jr. coming off this platinum glove and in the midst of this long deal with a no trade clause is going to be traded this offseason. But even AJ Preller was asked about it yesterday. But I mean, it's Bob Nightengale, which means he's right, what? 1 out of every 10 times, which means 9 out of every 10 he's not.
What is he talking about? Like, I'm sure he probably has somebody that like a boss that says, hey, we need you to write something about the offseason and maybe have like the top 10, bold trade ideas or whatnot. But come on, like, really? I remember a story. So I remember back in 2022 for the NLCS. I went to the NLCS and I sat in the press box and I was like, just squished in between. I think it was Marty and some national person. I don't remember, but I was sitting in that second row and Bob Nightengale was sitting below me. I remember watching, because you can see over and you can see what people are like writing on their computers.
Right, so you were reading his computer.
I wasn't reading his computer, but I saw on his computer, he would go and like copy other baseball writers' tweets and then just like put them out. I specifically
copy and like change the words around.
Yeah, I specifically remember seeing him copy a Jeff Passan tweet and put it out there. So like,
interesting.
That's just like every time I think about Bob Nightengale, I think about that, because Bob just gets things wrong all the time, and when he gets if he doesn't get things wrong, he just like copies other national baseball reporters' content and scoops.
Well, yeah, I mean, what was interesting today is he kind of like doubled down on this idea. He had a list of 25 players, and today he goes on Foul Territory. And let's play this, Brent. This is Bob Nightengale today, Foul Territory podcast. The question starts, because I don't think we have the question on here, basically saying you ruffled a lot of feathers in San Diego by putting Tatis on this list of potential trade targets this offseason. Here was Bob Nightengale.
Well, they got so many backloaded contracts where they've lost money the last few years. When you talk to GMs around the land, they say these guys are in big time trouble. They're losing money even though they're back in the place. So you can't trade Manny Machado. You can't trade Xander Bogaerts. Tatis's contract, as big as it is actually movable. I don't think they'll trade him this winter, but I think at some point, you talk to GMs, at some point you're going to have to move him. You're going to have to get rid of one of these big contracts. You're not moving Darvish, you're not moving Musgrove or Machado or Bogaerts. He's a guy that actually still has value, even with that big contract.
All right, so two things there. The Padres are losing money, according to Bob Nightengale.
Okay.
Year in and year out, they're losing money.
Okay.
And the only movable big contract, he actually might be accurate there. I mean, you're not moving the contract of Joe Musgrove or Yu Darvish. That's fair. But the only movable contract, he says, is Fernando Tatis Jr. Of course, there's a big caveat there. He can't be moved. It would require him getting rid of a no trade clause.
Right. And it's a 14-year deal. There's no opt-outs. There's a trade clause in there.
So there's no, it's ironclad. I mean, he would have to welcome a trade.
Yeah.
And if you're the Padres, what would even, because you're losing money, you're going to move Fernando Tatis Jr. this offseason? That's because you're losing money. And Bob Nightingale's so certain of that. He's seen the books. They're losing money. The Padres, who drew 3.4 million fans.
Bob Nightingale has no idea what the hell he's talking about.
That's what I took away from that.
Ever. There's a reason why Bob is around the baseball world made fun of as much as he's made fun of, because he has no clue what the hell he's talking about. He'll occasionally stumble into something and get something right here and there. But as far as like a trusted baseball insider reporter goes, he is the last person you ever want to believe.
So you don't think he's Jeff Passan?
No.
No, I would agree. I don't understand really.
He's the guy
premise.
that copies Jeff Passan.
Well, what's funny is he doubled down on Tatis will eventually be moved, but he also said he gave himself the out. I don't think it'll happen this offseason.
Okay.
Is what he said. Yeah. And he also said repeatedly, the Padres are losing money. So the reason that Fernando Tatis Jr. would go is because the Padres are losing money. But they already have taken so much money off the books to start the offseason. Look at Michael King. Look at Dylan Cease. Look at Robert Suarez. So there's no way it's a dollars and cents equation with Fernando Tatis Jr. We'll hear from AJ Preller in a moment. The thing with the Tatis is has nothing to do with whether you trade him or not. It has everything to do with, are you ever going to see Tatis be Tatis again? That's the key for the Padres. First of all, why would you sell him off? Again, he hasn't had the offensive years that he had earlier in his career over the last 3 or 4 years. Secondly, you just need him to produce. Like, he's in the middle of a no-trade 14-year deal. He's got to get back to the offensive player that we saw now 4 years ago. I mean, that's the key for the Padres, not trading him.
Yeah, the Padres are still in a win-now mode. If they were the Pittsburgh Pirates and Fernando Tatis Jr. had this massive contract and he was, 27 years old, he's, making all-star teams, he's winning platinum gloves, then yeah, I can maybe buy this because you got to rebuild. And why are you paying all this money to a guy when your team sucks? But they don't suck. They're still in a win now mode. So in a win now mode, when you do have money, their payroll's not like it was after the 2023 season.
No, it's not.
It's not even close to that.
Right.
So why on earth would the Padres trade away their 27-year-old all-star back-to-back platinum glove award winning player when he has a no trade clause? And by the way, this whole thing of like, let's trade this player. This always happens with fans and reporters. Like, let's trade away this player. Let's trade away this player. It's not that simple, because if you trade away Fernando Tatis Jr., you know what you have to do, John? You have to replace Fernando Tatis Jr. with a baseball player. And who are you replacing Fernando Tatis Jr. with right now? Because they got nobody behind him.
No, and this type of player shouldn't be replaceable. I mean, that was the whole point of the deal. A 14-year, $340 million contract really shouldn't be a replaceable player. He's under contract for the next 9 years. These are supposed to be the good years. Next year is age 27, then 28, then 29. You should have plenty of good years in front of Fernando Tatis Jr. Here's AJ Preller yesterday, asked specifically about this report from Bob Nightingale talking about Tatis.
A national report that you guys could be looking to trade Tatis. Is there anything you want to address on that?
I didn't see that, so that's kind of news to me. I think, again, like our team, our core, we have a lot of belief in the group. And Fernando, as much as anybody, he's come off a season where he won the platinum, glove. He played close to 162. He's one of the most talented players in the game. I think, you talk to Fernando, he'll be the first to tell you, like, yeah, I think there's another step or stage that I can get to that we're probably going to need if we're going to look to win championships here. And we've seen a lot here in San Diego, his ability to do that. So I think that's the exciting part, is kind of getting now, after the hiring of Craig, putting a staff together so we can start having those conversations with Toddy about, all right, what is that next step? If we're going to look up and you're having that MVP season that we all know he's capable of, what does he need to do it, and what does that look like here in San Diego? So again, we have a really good core. I think we're looking to fill out fill out the roster around that core, and we have a team that we believe a lot in. Toddy's at the top of that list.
It's very interesting if you listen to AJ Preller there. When you don't want to criticize somebody, but you kind of want to criticize somebody a little bit, you'd say, they would tell you this,
Yeah.
right? You're like,
Yeah.
oh, Fernando Tatis Jr. would tell you he needs to be better.
Yeah.
That's how you say that this guy needs to be better without just flat out saying, hey, we all Tatis needs to be better. Because he puts it on the player there. And he's right. Like, I'm sure Fernando Tatis Jr. would say he needs to be better, but AJ Preller saying it makes you think like, and know at least that the organization sees it as well, because we've talked about it for the last year plus how this guy is, one, not the same player he was, and two, if they want to get to where they want to get to, he needs to be much better offensively. And you heard AJ Preller there, and he said pretty much the exact same thing.
I think really for the last 3 years, we've said the same thing. We discounted 2023 because coming off the injuries and the suspension, but it's hard to discount 2024 and 2025. And when Preller's saying it, I'm now sick of people telling me he had a 6-WAR season, because now AJ Preller's saying it, and the 6-WAR season is all in his platinum glove.
Right.
Like the dude hit 260 with 25 home runs. He's top 50.
Yeah.
He's top 50 in slug. He's top 50 in OPS. Like, he had an above average offensive year when he's got to be a monster offensively to fulfill this thing. And by the way, even being a monster offensively, and you need to win at a high clip, because the story's going to flip. When Machado gets older and Tatis is 29 and 30, we're going to put it on Tatis when the team isn't winning in the postseason. Now we put it on Machado. Yeah. In the future, we're going to put it on Tatis when the team isn't winning championships in San Diego.
Yeah, it's interesting because Preller starts that out with basically like, what are you talking about? Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's a report that is obviously news to me. But then he goes into talking about how Tatis needs to be better.
Yeah.
And if they want to get to where they want to get to, they're not going to be able to do that without probably a, Fernando Tatis Jr. that is a top 5 MVP candidate in baseball, or at least the National League.
Can he do that? I mean, can you go from 260 something with 25 home runs to 340 something home runs? I mean, that's what what is the next step for Tatis? To me, it's not from 25 to 29 home runs.
I don't know.
What's that? I mean, you're talking about a big step. I want to see a big step. I don't want to see a step.
I mean, the narrative is probably not, because he's not on steroids anymore. Like, that's what people are going to say, because he got popped, he got suspended, and then he also got hurt. He had multiple surgeries, but he's shown like he can be that guy
for a period of time.
The problem is he's just not consistent.
Yep.
And he gets in his own way. He gets in his own head. He becomes mopey. His attitude is just god awful at times, and he wears his emotions on his sleeve, and everybody could see it. That's why I was talking about I wanted Albert Pujols so much, because I want someone to check Tatis, and I want someone to put him in his place and make sure that he's not going through these highs and lows of emotions throughout the season, because we all see it. And can Craig Stammen get Fernando Tatis Jr. in check? My guess is probably not. And my guess is the highs and lows of Fernando's emotions are still going to be the same. We're going forward. Like, I don't envision it changing until I see it actually change.
I'm dead serious when I say this. Go hire his dad as hitting coach. I would do it if I was the Padres. Like, when these are times where you've watched the Dodgers win the last 2 World Series, and you want to maximize Fernando Tatis Jr., and every time he says when he gets in a slump, he calls his dad and gets out of it, I'd go hire Fernando Tatis. All right, what Craig Stammen had to tell another managerial candidate of the Padres. Pretty fascinating stuff. You'll hear that on the other side. Plus, Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio, on the hire of Craig Stammen and the possibility of Fernando Tatis Jr. being moved this offseason. He'll join us at 2:30 on Jon and Jim. All right, San Diego Sports 760 has your chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration. Twinkling Lights meet Ocean Delights, November 14th through January 4th. You can experience the magic of the season and meet incredible animals like belugas. Beluga like whales, right? Penguins and sea otters. Plus, check out a winter wonderland with a million dazzling lights and all the new Clyde and Seymour's Christmas. Tickets and more at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. I would love to meet a beluga whale. I would love to do that. And I'll have the opportunity this Christmas at SeaWorld to do that.
Why don't you do it?
I'm going to go over there and be like, "Hi, I'm John."
You're like, "Hi, I'm a beluga whale."
That's what I want.
That's what it's going to sound like.
Maybe. Yeah, I could envision that. I could too.
So you can do that this Christmas.
Yes.
Over at SeaWorld. I'm looking forward to that. So we're giving away a 4-pack of tickets here today. In addition, today on Jon and Jim, we've got a pair of tickets for San Diego State Boise State.
Oh, must be nice.
No beluga whales expected to be in attendance this Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium.
What if they just gave you a beluga whale for Christmas? Like just put it in a really big plastic bag like you're at the carnival.
In a bag.
And get a
I can bring it
goldfish.
home.
You can just carry a beluga
I
whale with
prefer
you.
they just keep it there, and I'm almost like adopting it. Like they can keep
Like
it,
a highway.
but I can name it. It can be named John or Jim.
Hold on. How big
They're
is...
huge. They're huge.
I know.
They're huge.
I just want to see here to get an accurate description of a beluga whale. Let's see here. Adult beluga whales typically range from 13 to 20 feet in length.
Yeah, huge.
They can weigh between 1,100 and 2,500 pounds.
I have no room for that. No room.
You can't carry that around?
Can't put it in the bath. Right. There's no room for that beluga whale.
No, there'd be nothing. It'd be bad.
All right, let's hear from AJ Przinsky on foul territory. This is kind of comical because of we talked about this yesterday.
Comical, yeah.
Because Craig Stammen says that AJ Preller pursued him, even though the initial reporting was that Craig Stammen pursued
AJ.
the job from AJ.
Right.
So because of this, Craig Stammen has to apologize to a managerial candidate, Nick Hundley. Take a listen to this.
Brought it up. You brought up Stammen, right? So Stammen was in the interview process while you're going through it. And then he gets hired as the manager. Like, is that knowing the answers to the test? Because was Preller like, well, we tried all these other guys, and now, oh, Craig, you've been in the interview. Why don't we ask you the same questions, and you know the answers? So let's see if we can do that. Like, that was one of the things that confused me, was if he was in the interview process and then he becomes a manager, doesn't that seem like he already knew the answers to the questions?
You know what? That seems a little off, but I've known Craig for a long time, and he actually called me after he got the job and apologized for that. And I have a lot of respect for him, and I know the timeline of it. I know they asked him to interview. He initially declined. Was on the Zoom calls with me and the other candidates, and went through that process. And then they asked him again, and he said yes. So I totally understand that it looks a little weird from the outside. But talking to him, he's a guy that I trust. I know who he is. I know who he believes in, and I know for sure that he wouldn't do something like that.
It's really weird.
I don't put any blame or anything like right there, as you heard from Nick Hundley, on Craig Stammen. This is just AJ Preller and the Padres being AJ Preller and the Padres. They can't get out of their own way. They can't make things more complicated than they already like. They just make things so awkward and weird. And AJ Preller just can't operate normally. Like he physically cannot do it.
Like, how is it then when Mike Schilt said he was going to retire from the Padres, whatever that means? He'll be back in baseball in 2 seconds. Watch. How is it then when he retires from the Padres, Craig Stammen isn't a candidate? And then after interviewing candidates, Craig Stammen becomes a candidate himself. That's a very Padres-esque thing, isn't it? He said no initially, and then 7 days later said yes. Why couldn't you gotten the yes 7 days earlier? So it wouldn't have been so cumbersome now.
If AJ's master plan was to get Craig Stammen in the interview room to be an interviewer, to see how he responds, or at least what the questions he asks, to see how Craig Stammen is
that what happened?
Then AJ, dude, you're just like, you're messy and you operate as oddly and as weird as they come, and you just can't get out of your own way. And the whole entire operation, it's just not professional at all. Like when you think of the Padres, you think of AJ Preller. I don't think of professionalism. I don't think of things buttoned up. I think of chaotic. I think of messy. I think of dysfunction. And that's what AJ Preller is. I've grown to like AJ Preller as a general manager the last couple of years for the moves he's made to help this team win. But there's no doubt that this guy is still the messy, unorganized, dysfunctional general manager running an organization that it's no surprise they've gone through as many managers as they have.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree to some extent with that. I'd probably give Preller more credit than the way you put it right there. But I mean, it's a weird situation the way it played out so publicly is what I would say. You should be more buttoned up than that. It's not a good look on the organization for it to have played out that way.
As unprofessional as it could get.
Yeah, it's pretty unprofessional. In fact, if this would have happened in, like, let's say in New York, this would be a massive story.
Right.
And it's not a massive story here. I mean, we've made it a story. I don't think you probably heard one instance of this probably on the flagship station about the way this played out. But I mean, to be honest, imagine interviewing for a job with someone who then later got the job.
Yeah.
And he was in the interview, not interviewing for the job. And you later found out that guy, in fact, got the job. How would you feel about that? You wouldn't feel good about the process. You feel like it was sabotage. You feel like you were sabotaged.
And as I said, I have grown to really like AJ for the moves he's made since 2022. With this team going to the postseason through the last 4 years, he's made a lot of savvy moves and trades and signings that's really helped this team out. But like, what's the saying? Zebra can't change his stripes or can't change their stripes, or a leopard can't change their spots, or whatever.
That's not the saying, I don't think. I don't know what it is, but I've never heard it said that way.
Well, anyway, this is who AJ Preller is. Messy, unprofessional, and the organization will be forever dysfunctional while he's around.
What is the saying? 70470. Start your message with something about stripes, or a leopard can't change its spots.
Yeah. Like, this is who AJ is. He's just this guy. He can't help himself. He will always be this guy, and it will always be weird around here while he's in charge, and it will always be messy, and it will always be dysfunctional.
Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio on the other side. Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Lowe's. We'll start in the NBA. Today, the Dallas Mavericks fired their general manager, Nico Harrison, just after less than a year after trading away Luka Doncic. Moving over to NFL news of the day, second overall pick Travis Hunter. His season is over as he was placed on IR today after undergoing surgery on his right knee. Lowe's knows that saving is always top of mind, especially this season. Shop early Black Friday deals like select pre-lit artificial Christmas tree starting at $59.98 because it's basically Christmas, right? Lowe's, we help you save while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
It is always great to connect with Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio, as the Padres have made their choice for their next manager, Craig Stammen, the longtime reliever, longtime member of the Padres, of course, now the skipper of the Padres in 2026 and potentially beyond. So great to catch up once again in San Diego with Mike Farron. I'm just curious, Mike, to get your thoughts on the process that the Padres went about here. Do you find it cumbersome, the fact that Craig Stammen was interviewing candidates with AJ Preller before becoming a candidate himself and then ultimately getting the job?
I mean, I don't think it matters how you get the right guy so long as you get the right guy. And I guess it remains to be seen whether or not Stammen is that. But I mean, I think it's pretty clear that this whole search caught them by surprise, right? With Mike Shilt's sudden retirement.
Sure.
I mean, I think it sounds like it's something that Schilt had been considering, but it's not like the Padres had thrown together a list of managerial candidates, and they kind of had to scramble. I think it's unusual to have, somebody who has no experience formally coaching or managing, even somebody who's been in your organization and worked with players and been in player development and been a special assistant, to like suddenly go from interviewing people to be interviewed. But maybe it speaks to how they could not find the right fit. And I do think that just every one of these jobs is a custom fit, right? Just because you're a good manager someplace doesn't mean you'll be a good one somewhere else. I mean, we've seen that, heck, we've seen that recently with the Padres, right? Like Bob Melvin, super well respected, but it wasn't a great fit in San Diego. So I think in the end, this is one of those situations where the end justifies the means, and that's probably more important than the process and how it got there.
We were talking about this yesterday, Mike, looking at maybe AJ's playing 4D chess here. When you look at Craig Stammen, former reliever, right? There's no other manager in baseball that's a former full-time reliever. The expectation going into, his inaugural season next year is like he's going to have this bullpen and manage his bullpen very well, along with Ruben Niebla. I mean, could you look at middle relievers if this worked out here with Craig Stammen being kind of like, hey, this guy knows what to do with the bullpen. This guy, is really good with managing a pitching staff. Like maybe in the future, maybe more middle relievers will become managers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible, but listen, managers have a lot more help now in putting together a bullpen plan than they did before. Right. And so while Stammen's, listen, like Craig Stammen, I think was a really underrated pitcher over the decade that he pitched, because he was a guy that would routinely give you 3 innings and then come back 2 days later and give you a couple more. I mean, I think he was a valuable pitcher and really helped to save some of the young arms and some bad Padres teams too. I mean, he was a pretty good pitcher in Washington too. Like there are a bunch of things that he did, I think, that were really good. I don't know if it necessarily prepares him to manage a bullpen any more than just having an understanding of what matchups are supposed to be. But so much of that feel of managing a bullpen and what was important in it, say 25 years ago, has been whittled away, and the playing field evened by the amount of information that's available, right? Like any manager is going to get criticized when the move doesn't work, right? But very rarely are they putting guys in situations anymore that make you go, what are you thinking, because of the matchups. And so I don't know if just that there's going to be some sort of inherent success for Stammen on that. I mean, I would think, he would certainly should understand, because he has started in the past, what fatigue looks like, right, for starting pitchers. But, I don't know that inherently is going to make him better. That said, I do think you're right in that, if he has success as a manager, I think maybe it opens up the possibility of, other middle relievers going there, because it is a copycat league. Just like if Tony Vitello has success in San Francisco. Maybe all of a sudden people are knocking on college coaches' doors.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Mike Farron with us right now, MLB Network Radio. Did you see the list that Bob Nightengale had produced about players that could be on the move this offseason? Whether you did or didn't, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s name was on that list.
Yeah.
He's got a full no trade clause. He's under control for 9 years. I mean, you don't see a world where Fernando Tatis Jr. is potentially moved at some point in the near future, do you?
I don't. I mean, I think some of that goes to, since Peter Seidler's death, there is a different level of austerity, let's say, within the ownership group in San Diego. And because it is their longest term commitment, and of those, contracts is probably the easiest to move, just because, Manny Machado's still been great, but he's a little bit older, and Xander Bogaerts is older and has not been as good. I think that's where some of that comes from. I mean, I don't know, are you moving Tatis for Acuna? Maybe you could do something like that, right?
Yeah,
which would be fun, right? Now that I said it out loud, that sounds like it'd be really fun, right? Let's sign up for that. That's Joe Carter and Robbie Alomar for and Fred McGriff and Tony Fernandez. So sign me up for any of those. But I think it's highly unlikely that they would move him for all those reasons that you highlighted there. And because he's still young and, he's one adjustment at the plate away from all of a sudden being this 35 homer bat again that plays elite defense in right field. And those guys don't grow on trees.
No, they don't. No, they do not. So we're early in the off season, free agency, we'll start picking up around the winter meetings, but with the looming potential lockout of next year, how do you view this off season when you have that kind of dark cloud hanging over everybody's head a little bit?
I think it's a fair question to ask, but I'm not sure that there's anything historically that tells us it's going to be anything other than normal. I don't know that all of a sudden teams are going to be shying away from signing multi-year deals. I mean, maybe some will, but shame on them because they think that the financial system is going to change in such a way that would void contracts. I don't know. I think all of this that's being discussed and one, it's speculative, and two, a lot of it just reeks of penny wise, pound foolish, which is, I guess, what happens when you're in management and you have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on something. But I'm not convinced that it's going to have a particularly big impact on this offseason. But that said, you're right that the lockout is looming, and I don't think teams are all that shy about saying that they're preparing for that. And I know I've talked to more people who say that their franchises are preparing for the lockout to be an extended one in various ways. And that continues to grow as opposed to lessen as we get close to a year from the CBA expiring. So I think the fear is pretty real, and I have some serious thoughts on that too. We could save them for another time if you'd like, but I think that this is really a bad look for baseball to be planning on stopping the game, even if it's in the off season.
Yeah, it would be a good way to ruin this show, by the way, because we spend a lot of time talking baseball, though we've been through some lockouts and we've been through
Go
COVID.
Aztecs.
Yeah, there we go, Aztecs, indeed.
Toreros.
There you go. Mike Farron with us right now, MLB Network Radio. As you know, Yu Darvish is out. You look at the Padres rotation without potentially a Dylan Cease who's a free agent, without a Michael King who's a free agent. They've got some internal options. I mean, how intriguing is it to you, or how dangerous is it potentially to consider a Mason Miller or an Adrian Morejon who have had so much success in the bullpen? Do you believe the Padres will be tempted to try to convert either or both to some type of starter next year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, I had a chance to see Mason Miller as a starter in the fall league a couple of years ago, and I did not view him as a reliever. He was a guy that I was like, man, this guy's got a chance to be a pretty good starting pitcher because there's a 3-pitch mix and a good frame. And listen, the A's moved him there because he hadn't had that many innings thrown, and he had battled injuries, and they felt like that was the best way to keep him healthy. Well, the last 2 years he's been healthy. He's a little bit older. Remember, I don't know how much you guys know his backstory when he was at Gardner Webb, but And he was a guy that had undiagnosed type 1 diabetes when he got to campus. And so that's something that took, I think, a physical toll on him. There were probably some adjustments that he needed to make, both in what his medication was and the insulin and how to handle that I think probably, one, caused him to not maybe be quite as good for most of his college career as he looks now. But two, is part of the growing process for a young person who's dealing with that disease. So I think that there's that possibility that they do it. I think both guys are intriguing starting pitching candidates. I would be loath to put maybe both of them in the rotation, just because I think it gives you a little bit of concern in terms of the number of innings, and it might weaken a bullpen that I think is a little bit more questionable with Robert Suarez as a free agent. And obviously Jason Adam, it sounded like yesterday that he was pretty positive that he could be ready early in the season, but that was one of their great strengths. So my guess is that one of those guys at least gets a chance to start to open the year, and that let's say Michael King doesn't take the qualifying offer. All of a sudden, you're looking at some external additions to help fill out an inch. And Nick Martinez is a free agent again. I actually think he'd be a great fit for the Padres. You know how good he was there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. One more, Mike, for me before you go, just 30,000 foot view. Like in the shadow of the Dodgers, specifically from the Padres' perspective, being in the NL West. And listen, the Blue Jays could have won the World Series. I mean, they came within inches of doing it, but they didn't. So ultimately, the Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series. Certainly, they're favored to do it again in 2026. Like from a strategy perspective, like if you're in AJ Preller's shoes or John Seidler's shoes, where do you go in the shadow of LA in an effort to equal what they're doing or surpass them at some point in the near future? Where do you even start that conversation?
Well, I mean, to me, I think and this is just my personal feeling on any of this, you cannot let what anybody else is in your division is doing dictate your ability to build the best club that you possibly can with the resources that you have available, because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't, like the Dodgers already have the oldest position player group that won a World Series in the last decade. Right, it was almost 31 years old as a group. I mean, you have to go back to the Yankees teams in the early 2000s, late 90s to have lineups that were that old. And remember, that was at the height of the steroid era. Not to say that all those Yankee guys were using, but that was a time that the average age of lineups was significantly older because the aging curve turned. So I don't think there's a guarantee that the Dodgers are healthy enough, even with their depth, to make sure that they have, run away with the division again. And they certainly haven't run away with it the last 2 years. In fact, I think you can make a case that these were two of the weaker Dodgers squads, at least over the course of the regular season, that they've had in this last decade plus. So personally, I don't think you worry about the Dodgers. I think you build the best team you possibly can. Your goal is to get to the postseason. I know we've discussed how baseball's postseason is such that, the favorite doesn't always win. Or the better seed. And in fact, the Dodgers were the 3 seed this year, right? So I don't think you can focus on the Dodgers or should focus on the Dodgers. And I think that's kind of the way AJ Preller's made up, right? Like he wants to build the best team that he possibly can to give them the chance to either run down the Dodgers, or if they don't, like more importantly, give themselves a chance to win in the postseason. So I think that to me is the story with what I would be doing if I were advising the Padres. Would be, don't worry about them. They're not your problem. Your problem is to win as many games as you can to get to the postseason and into the World Series.
Really good perspective and insight as always. That's why we bring you on. Mike Farron from MLB Network Radio. Mike, we appreciate you taking time for us, and we will do it again, hopefully at some point soon.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
All right, great stuff. We react on the other side, Jon and Jim.
All right, we're going to hear from Craig Stammen coming up on MLB Network on Padres relievers that could be turned starters. You'll hear that coming up at 3 p.m. We also have 2 great giveaways for you today. Pair of tickets to see the Aztecs take on Boise State on Saturday. Andre Heckverdian, East Village Times, will join us at 4 p.m. We also have a 4-pack of tickets to give away to see SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration, including beluga whales that we will give away.
Love it.
So we'll do that coming up. All right, so we just had Mike Farron with us. Yeah, I guess my whole thing with the I get his point on the Dodgers. Other than the fact that it seems like the year always ends and we're having the same conversation about the Dodgers.
I will agree with him, but also disagree with him in this sense of, yes, you have to focus on yourself.
Yep.
But I mean, how could you not also look at what the Dodgers are doing and try to strategize and build to beat them? Like, they're directly in front of you in the division, and you will have to go through them in the postseason.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's and I do get it. Yes, you're not going to counter every move. Oh, they signed Ohtani for $700 million. Let's go sign Soto for $800. I mean, that doesn't make any sense.
No,
they can't do that. They'll never be able to do that. And there's ways to win without doing that. The Toronto Blue Jays won at a very high level. They're not the exact same team as the LA Dodgers. Now, at the end of the day, they didn't win the World Series. So we can't pretend like they're the exact equal. I mean, they were close. Doesn't count. History won't remember the Blue Jays as World Series champions. They didn't win it. So, yeah, there's a world. I said this yesterday, I think. The Dodgers aren't winning the next 9 World Series. But they might win 4 out of 6.
Yeah.
Or 5 out of 8. Which takes away a lot of your window. If they're taking 2 of the next 4 up, there's only 2 others to be had.
And knowing the Dodgers, knowing Andrew Friedman,
yeah,
you think they're satisfied with just 2?
No, they want it. I mean, if I were in their shoes, I'm trying to secure the greatest dynasty in modern baseball history. You got 2.
I'm looking to win
4,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like, I'm looking to win as many World Series as I can in a row. I'm looking, like you said, to make it the best dynasty in the history of the sport.
When you're in their shoes and you've won 2 straight.
And so, they've done the hard part, which is, winning a World Series. And they've done even the harder part, which is winning back-to-back World Series. And now, you're going out there and the Dodgers are going to continue to add. They're going to continue to spend. They're going to continue to have Shohei Ohtani be the MVP of the National League so long as he stays healthy. So they're not done. And I understand the notion of, hey, you got to worry about yourself first, which is absolutely true. But you do have to also look at what the Dodgers are doing and not like counter it per se, like you said, to the match contract for contract, because you can't do that. But you can't just sit back and do nothing. You have to go out and be like, look, we have to go out and get better pitching. We have to go out and get more power. We have to do that. Like, you can't just scrape the bottom of the barrel every offseason like they've done the last 2 years and hope it works.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you're right. That is what they've done by and large the last 2 off seasons. And AJ Preller, to some extent, has made the moves, the Nick Pavettas of the world, that have really paid off. By the way, the last time a team won more than 3 World Series in a row, 1949 through 1953, 5 straight World Series for the New York Yankees. But when you've won 2 straight, and the last team to win 3 straight is the iconic Yankees team from 96 to 98, like, that's what you're on the verge of doing. When you've won 2 straight, you're on the verge of becoming the first three-peat since that 90s Yankees team. So, yeah, they're not going to stop just because they've won 2 straight is the point. They're not a little engine that could in this spot. They're a massive behemoth that wants to continue to take advantage of the situation.
The Dodgers, yes, they're spending more money than everybody, but it's not like the Padres are 25th in payroll.
Yeah, exactly.
They're a top 10 team in payroll, so they can compete. And if you haven't yet, and you're looking for something to watch, go watch the Red Sox documentary on Netflix that recently came out this past year. It came out maybe a couple of months ago. I forget when it came out. Yeah, in 04.
Yeah.
04. Almost every single player, including Theo, talked about how they had to compete with the Yankees and how they needed to not match exactly what they were doing, but they needed to keep up because they knew that was the team they had to get over. And they couldn't just sit around and pretend like they didn't exist. They knew they had to go through them. They knew that they were their direct rivals. They knew that they had to kind of match move for move and make moves themselves to beat the Yankees. And I watched that documentary and I think about the Padres and the Dodgers in this moment in time right now. And I'm like, yes, worry about yourself first, but it would be naive to think that you're not going to worry about the Dodgers at all during this whole, time period. You can't do that. And I go back to that documentary and I'm like, the Red Sox, everything that they did when Theo got there was to beat the Yankees. If that's not everything the Padres are trying to do to beat the Dodgers, I don't know.
I think they have tried. Unfortunately, I think by and large, they've fallen flat on their face.
Continue to try and beat them.
Yeah, again, it's different than 2004. You have 3 wildcard teams. You used to have 1.
Right.
You used to really have to go through your division to get into the postseason. There's less of that now in 2026. But I agree. I think to have a conversation about the Padres and to not include the Dodgers in that conversation, to me, is foolish because ultimately you're going to see them somewhere along the line, regular season or postseason, if you want to get to where you want to get. We'll hear from Craig Stammen on the other side on MLB Network about the idea of converting relievers to starters for the Padres in 2026. Plus, we're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration and a pair of tickets to see the Aztecs take on Boise State Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. And Andre Hackverdian, who covers the Aztecs for the East Village Times, will join us at 4 p.m. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. We'll start in the NBA. The Mavs today, they fired their general manager, Nico Harrison. I wonder why, less than a year after trading Luka Doncic. Moving over to the NFL news of the day, second overall pick, Travis Hunter. His season is over as he was placed on IR today after undergoing surgery on his right knee. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
They are Jon and Jim.
Where do you think I'm going with the congratulations in order? You should know.
I do know this.
Final seconds. Bird is going to dribble it out. And the Aztecs are going to win today at Viejas. Win number 200 in the career for Brian Dutcher. San Diego State over Idaho State. 73-57.
San Diego State, they've got a week off. 200 wins, 68 losses.
Is that good?
In 8+ years. Yeah, it's very good. The winning percentage is right around 750.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. here today. We will have Andre Hackverdian, who covers the Aztecs for the East Village Times. Join us at 4 p.m. We'll get into San Diego State and Boise State, which is coming up Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. In fact, we have tickets to give away for that game. We'll do that in the 4 o'clock hour. We'll give you our thoughts on the Mavs making this move less than a year after their GM traded Luka Doncic away.
Why would they do this?
Which is very interesting. Why would you ever trade away? Why would you fire your GM?
Why would you fire your GM after trade away Luka?
It doesn't make any sense. It makes and they're off to this terrible start, by the way. None of it makes any sense. We'll get into that. But there is more when it comes to the Padres and their manager and Craig Stammen. This is from MLB Network. Regarding Padres relievers, could they be turned into starters, including Mason Miller?
But we all know that Padres work ethic. AJ and those guys are probably sitting in meetings right now as we speak. We're losing some starting pitching in San Diego. Have talks started about Morejon, Mason Miller being starters, not relievers. I'm sure you're going to be in those and have a unique take being both in the big leagues.
Yeah, you know it, Pete. You've been in there. You know how AJ and Josh like to do things. They're working, but they're also creative and trying to think of new ways to make our club as best as we can with what we've got. We've got two great pitchers amongst a really good pitching staff. Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon, those guys were studs last year and were a big reason we had success as a team and why, we felt like we could have made a big run in the playoffs. And so they'll be a big part of our team this year too. I don't know if they're going to be starting, relieving, closing, but they're going to be a big part of our success and they're going to pitch as many innings as we can get them to pitch and keep them healthy and keep them successful.
Well, you've already mastered not answering the question, so I'll do that. I'm back over here. The Miller thing is fascinating, though. Like, it's funny. I love relief pitching. He looks like a leveraged reliever to me. Am I wrong on that, or are you saying no? He can convert.
No, he throws 104 miles an hour. He looks like a leverage reliever for sure.
Yeah.
But like what I've found out, even as a player, and PV knows this too, and like. You can't put limitations on these guys. These guys can achieve things that we never even dreamed of. I just think that, we'll have those discussions. They'll be a part of that plan too. They're great players. They have great minds. They know their bodies. They know themselves. They know what they're capable of, and they know what they want to do also. And so I'm not putting any limitations on our players. We got a great group of players, and they're ready to, reach their ultimate potential.
Doesn't that kind of sound like, yeah, let's do it? We have needs, and we want to we want these guys to throw as many innings as possible while keeping them healthy.
Okay. By the way, Jake Peavy was the one that asked that question to begin with. I think where there's smoke, there's fire, and it sounds like they might try this come spring training. It really does. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be both of them. Miller, Morejon, Morgan. I don't know who it's going to be. Right. But I do think one of these relievers will be converted, or at least they're going to try to convert one of them into a starter come spring training.
Listen to this rotation: Nick Pivetta, Joe Musgrove, Mason Miller, Adrian Morejon. again, on paper, you're like, whoa.
Well, I mean, they originally, when they signed Adrian Morejon, was
the
to be a
starting
starter.
pitcher. Absolutely. And Mason Miller, to Mike Farron's point, was like, I saw him in the fall league coming up as a starter, never envisioned him as anything other than that, even though he threw hard. I'm with you. It won't be both, and it might not be either. And the smart play, you know what happens. The second anything happens to either of them, it doesn't have to be an elbow or a shoulder. The second anyone misses time or misses a start or is ineffective, why'd they do it? The second that happens, Mason Miller goes out, 2 2/3 innings and 5 runs. Why'd you do it? That's always going to be the thought process because of what he was as a reliever, which was dominant.
Now, the last reliever this team converted into a starter very recently was Stephen Kolek, if you remember.
Yeah.
Stephen Kolek was that Rule 5 pick, or I believe
he was Rule 5.
He was a Rule 5 tier, and he was a reliever in his first year with the Padres, and that was in 2024. And then they turned him into a starter this year, and pretty effective at times until they traded away him for Freddie Fermin.
Correct.
But still shows that they have taken a reliever and turned him into a starter. Pretty effective with the Padres. I don't really know exactly what he did with the Royals.
I think he was fine. Who else did the Royals acquire in that? It's been a couple of weeks. We should know that.
I'm blanking because he actually was really well.
Yeah.
Pitched really well for them.
I'll find it. It's obviously here for us.
When you say the name of it.
Burgert.
Yeah.
Ryan Burgert.
Ryan Burgert. Yes. Pitched well for the Royals until I think he got hurt as well.
Yeah, he may have.
So you're dealing with like, what do you want? What would you call Mason Miller? Like prized item, like a prized jewel, or like a piece of jewelry that you have to put on special gloves to handle.
Right.
You can't have this mess up. You can't drop the jewelry. You can't have a scratch on. Like, you have to treat it with like special gloves and make sure this thing is in pristine condition for the amount of time that you have them, because you traded away who you traded away to get him. So you can't afford, if you turn Mason Miller into a starter, he has to be healthy. He has to pitch for you throughout the season and give you as many innings as possible. He can't get injured, because if he gets injured, and also it's on them, and two, it makes that trade just, especially whatever Leo DeVries does with the A's, like you can't afford to convert Mason Miller into a starter and have it not work.
He's under control for the next 4 years. So you can't have him get hurt in 2026, and that impacts his 27, 28, and 29. He's under control for 4 years. Where my mind goes is like, have you converted relievers to starters even from outside the organization? I'm thinking about the Seth Lugos of the world. The year before he was here, he didn't start one game.
Yep.
So they've been able to or even like Nick Pivetta, who was a starter, but nowhere near the effective starter he turned out to be in 2025. So that's why I'm like, you know what? I don't know if you need to do it with Miller and you need to do it with Morejon, but can you do it with the 2026 version of Seth Lugo? Or can you go find the 2025 version of Nick Pivetta, which was a guy that was coming off a very average year and then piecemealed it into a very good year once you acquired him? That's a strength of the Padres. That's a credit to Ruben Niebla and AJ Preller, that they've been able to take some of those diamonds in the rough and turn them into diamonds over the course of, I mean, that's not just random. They've had a few of those players over recent history. So I'm with you. I think I'd be very cautious to do it with Mason Miller. My prized possession, if anything were to happen to my prized possession, I kind of look foolish. I mean, not kind of, I look foolish.
I'd be concerned to do with Adrian Morejon.
That too.
Because when he was a starter, he had to get Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
So like, he pitched a lot this year. I was at the end, I was worried about Adrian Morejon, because he's pitching on 3 straight days with no rest, multiple times in the span of a couple weeks. And I'm like, okay, please don't get injured. And to his credit, he pitched fantastic. But
he was great.
I was curious to see, if this team went deeper in the postseason, how Adrian Morejon would have been handled going forward.
Do you think, like, if I'm a Morejon, like, what's his contract status, for example? And the reason I ask it, like,
it's got to be up here pretty quick.
That's what I was thinking. If I'm approaching free agency and I'm Adrian Morejon, I'm a free agent after this year. Okay. That's what it is.
Okay.
And I'm coming off this brilliant year with my 2 ERA and my 0.9 whip. Do I want to lean more into that and get paid as a reliever, which can pay off? Let's say I'm making it up out of that. 3 years, $40 million. I'm making it up. I pitch well. I'm a reliever. I'm a leverage guy. I get 3 years, 40. Or do I want to take another crack at starting? I put together a nice year and my 3-year contract is worth $100 million.
If you had to pick one player, you have to pick one between Miller and Morejon to be converted to a starter next year. Who are you picking?
I don't know, dude. I mean, Morejon's a free agent at the end of the year. So part of you says, well, you're losing him at the end of 2026. So he's more willing to, I'm more willing to risk it. But with Miller, if you converted him and it worked, you'd have one of the best starting pitchers in baseball potentially for years under control in your organization, and you'd maximize it. You wouldn't be waiting on it. Both are massive risks, massive, with high upsides.
Yeah, absolutely. High upsides. Definitely there's a risk factor there as well.
I mean, how many innings could either throw anyway next year? 125? Seems like a lot. Something like that.
Yeah. I don't think anything more than that, right?
It's not like 175. I know that. But if he did it with Miller and he threw 125 innings, then come 2027, all of a sudden he's built up to be a workload guy.
I just think Miller as your closer,
pretty appealing.
Very appealing. But there might be times when he's not even going to be used because
All the
you're
time.
not leading games, and he's like, oh, we haven't used Mason Miller in 9 days or something crazy, right?
Yeah,
So
those months were like,
Yeah.
let's say you're good for 2 months, but bad for 1 month.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you have a month where you're 11 and 15.
that's why the closer position in baseball, you don't want to, pay big money to closers, and because you find closers, anyway.
They have found him effectively.
Yeah, like look, the Dodgers didn't use a closer at all in like the World
Correct.
Series. They turned Roki Sasaki into their closer, and he's a starting pitcher
who didn't pitch for most of the year.
Right. So like the closer position, and look at Hoffman for the Blue Jays. He blew it.
Yeah,
and he was their closer.
That's right.
But I bet you if they go back, they might do something different there, right? They might use a starter in Hoffman's place. And when you get to the postseason, it feels like everything's just thrown out the window.
My opinion on it maybe has changed over the last 2 postseasons, where everyone tells me the Padres have the most dominant bullpen ever, and then they lose without the ability to have the bullpen impact them positively because their offense doesn't score.
Yeah.
And that's not on the bullpen. That's not on AJ Preller. I mean, I guess it is because he's the one in charge of the offense too.
But if their offense could score.
Yeah, I mean, if your offense could score, then you like to think you could win series.
Right.
And make a deep run. And that's the theory.
But that's been the problem the last 2 years, which is I know the starting pitching is a big area of need this offseason, but like you have to go into spring training with the mindset and an emphasis on this offense has to be a top 10 offense. Has to be. There's no reason it shouldn't be. And if they're not 100% committed to fixing and turning around this piss poor offense that was in 2025, I think things will maybe repeat themselves a little bit in 2026, potentially.
Let me ask you this real quick and we can break. But let's say the Padres did have like the 11th offense in baseball next year. Very good team, won 91 games. We're in the postseason and they're facing an elimination game. What would we be saying? Same thing.
Oh, and it's like the 5th inning and they're down like 1-0.
Saying the same thing. Yeah, I know they had a good year in the regular season, but they did in 2024 too and couldn't score.
Yeah, they have 2 hits through 6.
Yeah, exactly. That we'd be all thinking at least the same thing. All right, we'll switch gears for a first time on the other side. Again at 4 p.m., Andre Hagverdian, who covers the Aztecs for the East Village Times, will join us. We'll talk about San Diego State and Boise State. On the other side, why on earth would the Dallas Mavericks fire their general manager, Nico Harrison, today?
Crazy.
What on earth
were they thinking?
That's next. All right, guys, it is Schaefer again. And as I've been telling you, there's no better time than right now to get down to your local Toyota dealer. They do have new vehicles arriving each and every day. We're talking about some of their most popular cars, trucks, and SUVs. Whatever kind of vehicle you're looking for, hurry into your Toyota dealer today, including if you're looking for a Toyota truck. They've got some great deals going on right now. The largest inventory of Tacomas and Tundras are ready to roll. Let me tell you about the Tacoma because it's known for its legendary toughness, its off-road capability, its everyday efficiency. It's perfect for weekend adventures or just tackling your to-do list. And then there's the Tundra, which brings serious power, impressive towing capacity, and bold design, plus the latest tech and comfort features. So whatever kind of truck you're looking for, whether it's built for the trails or built for work or built for your family's next adventure, Toyota has you covered. Again, new vehicles arriving each and every day. We make it easy. See your Toyota dealer today. All right, tomorrow at 6 right here on San Diego Sports 760. It's STFC Midweek Live. You're going to hear from Mikey Varis, the head coach, and you're going to find out the latest on the club, which is in the Western Conference semifinals. STFC Midweek Live tomorrow at 6 on your home for STFC San Diego Sports 760. Now, they're still 13 days out. What do you think they're doing? What are they doing all that time? Are they getting ready? There's this international break period for some of these players, but for others, I guess it's just about maintaining the level of performance that you had previously. That's a good amount of time, but I guess other teams are dealing with it too in Major League Soccer.
I mean, you can go on vacation and just be fine.
I don't think that's the time of year to do it, is it?
No.
Before your Western Conference semifinal, win or go home match?
My guess is that they're keeping, staying ready, and
that's my guess too.
Maybe not full practices, but training and all that stuff to get ready for the week that you really ramp things up to get ready for Minnesota on the 24th.
Yeah, I read at ESPN.com as well. They're like, the MLS postseason this year is so weird with this international window, and then with the dates that some of the games are being played. Like some teams are playing a quarterfinal match on a Friday, and then other teams are playing a quarterfinal match on a Sunday, and then some teams are playing a semifinal match on a Monday. And you can hear it, of course, that semifinal match coming up a week from this upcoming Monday, 13 days from now, SDFC in the Western Conference semifinals. Before we get to Nico Harrison, this from MLB Trade Rumors that Jeff, I'm not keeping up with the Kyle Tucker news and his ties to the Dodgers,
But MLB Trade Rumor says Jeff Passan of ESPN writes that the Dodgers don't seem inclined to make a decade-long commitment to Kyle Tucker. And then Fabian Ardaya of The Athletic wrote last night that while the Dodgers aren't ruling it out, they're also not opposed to a short-term outfield commitment.
Probably because Kyle Tucker isn't like worth that much.
That's what I was wondering too. You're always going to link the Dodgers to the star top free agent player, but I don't think every single one is always going to go there. And that you bring up a really good point. Like, are you going to overpay for Kyle Tucker this offseason? I don't know if I'd overpay for him. I think he's a good player.
I think he's a good player too. I don't think he's $400 million
of a good
worth
player.
of a
For like
player.
11-year commitment or something.
No chance.
Yeah, exactly.
If you gave him like a $180 to $200 million contract, maybe. But I mean, if he's asking for upwards of $300 to $400 million and like a 10 to 11-year commitment, like no chance. Not doing it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
I would rather, like, if the AAV conversation, like shorter on the years, higher in the AAV, those are the type of deals I like, right? Because you don't have to sit through 8, 9, 10, 11 years of a bad contract like we have to sit with Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado and like whoever else, you know, has a large contract that you got to sit through, right? But like if the guy had a 3-year $100 million deal, you know, like if he's bad, then you only got 2 years left at a high AAV. You don't have to worry about him here for 10 years, you know, with a huge commitment. Like we have to look at Xander Bogaerts and Manny Machado.
You just mentioned something really interesting, and I've gone down this path before. Would you call Manny Machado's current deal, his second deal with the Padres, a quote-unquote bad deal?
Yes.
Definitively is that? Just
Yes.
because of the sheer dollars and the length?
More so the length than the dollars.
Yeah.
Like
I
the
would buy
dollars,
that.
I think is completely fair. I think the length is what's going to be the problem.
The last like 5 years, let's say.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
In which I don't even know what year we're in on this deal. I've
I don't
lost
know.
track. It's the off season. There's a lot of years left, though. Obviously,
I mean,
I'm gonna look
obviously
that
have
up.
to
real
look,
quick.
yeah.
So Machado is under contract, folks, through 2033. So that's 8 years, and that means he's only 3 years into his $350 million deal.
So there's 8 years left.
8 years left of his $350 million deal. We know that the payroll numbers only go up. They're paying him a lot in sheer payroll at the end of that deal. But I'm with you. Those final 3 years, is that still 5 years from now?
4 years, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, you could be looking at something that's really handcuffing you.
Like you want the contract to end in 3 years, not the contract to start looking awful in 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's what you want to happen. And you know, Manny got his way. Peter gave him the money when I know that there are people inside the organization that did not want to do that with Manny Machado, but Manny runs that place and he got what he wanted. And you know, the Xander one's going to look equally as bad. It's already bad right now.
Yep.
Like Xander's worse because he's not good. And the amount of years that are still left on his deal, the money part you can deal with because I think it's a flat rate of 26 million. Like it's
Per
not,
year, yeah.
it's not the most outrageous AAV on the planet, but the years part of it and the total money is the part where you're like, that is disgusting.
You know, the Machado thing could trend to be a terrible deal when people are already saying he's playing too much. They need to figure out a way to keep him healthy when it matters the most. They need to maximize him in October. We're already talking about getting him off his feet. He's got 8 years left on his deal.
Oh, I know.
You're already talking about he needs scheduled off days. He's got to DH more. He had a 795 OPS last year. He's got 8 years left on the deal.
Like with 8 years left on the deal, your OPS should still be in like the mid 800s, even though he's not a career mid 800 OPS guy.
Right.
He's an 820 something OPS guy for his career. But like,
what would Fangraphs tell you about the future years? They would tell you there's a decline in his offensive efficiency. That's what Dan Zimborski is going to tell us. Now, he could have a bounce back year, but is he going to be a bounce back 8 years? No, there's no such thing as a bounce back 8 years.
I would much rather have, though, Manny Machado with an 840 OPS playing 130 games than Manny Machado with a 795 OPS playing 158 games.
Yeah, or even lower than 795, because if the numbers continue to go down as he ages,
like
770.
You give this team 125 to 130. 125 might be kind of low.
That's a little low.
130 to 135 games, and your OPS is in the mid 800s.
Yeah.
I would take that over Manny Machado playing every day. And at the end of the season, he's dog tired once again. And his OPS is like in the 780 range.
Yeah, I would. And I don't think we're going to get anywhere close, assuming his health, to him playing just 135 games. I think he'll go from like, I don't know what he played last year. I think we'll go from 157 to 152. But I don't think we're going from 157 to 135. No, and not if he's healthy. I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
All right, the latest on what the Mavs just decided to do today with their GM on the other side. Andre Hagverdian from the East Village Times on this critical game in the Mountain West Saturday night. San Diego State and Boise State will join us at 4 p.m. This is Jon and Jim.
This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. We'll start in the NBA. The Dallas Mavericks today shockingly fired their general manager, Nico Harrison. I wonder why. Less than a year after trading away superstar guard Luka Doncic. And NFL news of the day, second overall pick, Travis Hunter. His season is over as he was placed on IR after undergoing surgery on his right knee on Tuesday. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
All right, Andre Hagverdian on Aztecs Broncos coming up at 4 p.m. Then we'll give away Aztec tickets for Saturday night after that conversation. I've never had a long conversation with Sean Lewis about Travis Hunter and like how he incorporated him in 2023 on offense, because he was obviously a two-way player, yada, yada. He's out, as Jim just told you.
Well, he got hurt that year.
He did. He got hurt a lot that year. His only healthy year at Colorado was the Heisman year.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's right.
When he exactly got hurt.
It was like early. It was like the third game of the year, remember?
Yeah, but when did they take away Sean Lewis's play calling?
Halfway point, like 6 or 7 games in.
Well, he had, I think, we had an interception in the TCU game. Did he have a touchdown that game too as a wide receiver? I don't remember.
I'm kind of curious, man, how they used him on offense with Sean at Colorado in 2023.
Hey, look, in college, that can work.
Yeah, he was great in college, but again, he had that injury issue in 2023. Like you said, he missed a lot of time.
In the NFL, this guy is a bust.
Like, are you saying it now?
Yeah. Dude, I was saying it back when why did the Jags trade as much as they did up to the number 2 pick for this guy? And then you think that it's going to work in the NFL to play on both ways?
Yeah.
No. This ain't college football anymore. You can't do that in the NFL.
He only did it in college 1 year, to your point, successfully for a full year.
It's different in college than the NFL, because in college, I mean, let's be real. There's some teams out there and some players out there, they're just better than everybody else. They can just go out and play, and they don't need to go into all these meetings and obviously they're going to the meetings, but you get my point.
Yeah.
NFL, dude, you aren't the big dog anymore. You're not the guy that can just wing it. You need to go to offensive wide receiver meetings. You need to go to defensive meetings. You need to be in the defensive room. You need to be in the offensive room. You just don't have enough time to do all that. And by the way, Travis Hunter, he's not some physical specimen either. For his size, he is, I think, way undersized.
We were saying like he looks little. Like he looks
very little.
Yeah.
So good luck.
I'm not ready to call him a bust yet,
right?
But the delusion of playing both ways is over.
It's ridiculous.
It's pick one now. You're either going to be a corner or you're a wide out. Yeah,
by the way, his first ever game was Sean Lewis calling plays, that Colorado TCU, like watched by 20 million or something.
Yeah.
11 catches in that game, 119 yards. And then he had a game, Sean was still calling plays. It was the 4th game of the year. They lost to Stanford. He had 13 catches, 140 yards.
Is that good?
So, I mean, again, this is a guy that, to your point, I do completely agree with the idea that college is not professional football.
No.
There are a lot of amazing college football players at all positions, but they don't necessarily have that skill set that is necessary to succeed in pro football. Not to say Travis Hunter won't succeed in pro football. I'm sure he'll play a long time, but I do agree with the general idea of if you think this guy's going to play both ways for 5, 7, 9, 10 years, it's not going to happen. Now the key is, can you keep him healthy playing one side of the football and being one of those guys that's like an impact piece for 5 or 10 years? And who knows how many, ultimately this year is like a complete lost season for Travis Hunter.
Well, that's what bad organizations do. They let the player dictate what the player wants to do.
Great call.
And the player in this situation wanted to prove,
I can do it.
I can do it. I can play both ways. And the Jags caved and they traded I forget what they exactly traded, but still, it was a lot to get to the number 2 pick. They caved on Travis Hunter. They said, what do you want to do? You can do it. And it's proven to be a colossal failure of a pick early on.
What has he even done in 7 games?
He's done nothing.
He has 1 touchdown.
Nothing.
With 290 yards receiving in the NFL. That's all he's done, right?
And what? He's played on defense a little bit.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we read it the other day, has made 12 tackles. Not that that's the end all be all stat for a corner, but like what impact is he having?
It's not number 2 pick worthy. That's like a gimmick That's like a gimmick. Like, hey, look, I made, 27 tackles on defense this year, and I caught
20 balls.
I had 500 yards receiving on offense.
Yeah.
He's a bust.
It's going to
in
be
my
very
opinion.
interesting.
My opinion, I think he's a bust.
Now, also potentially a bust was Luka, because the Mavs traded him away for very little last year. Remember that? The trade for Luka, who's averaging we just 37 points, 9 assists, 9 rebounds to start this year. Obviously, considered one of the more lopsided trades in the history of the NBA.
Look, I always say this: when you have the opportunity to trade away a future Hall of Famer, top 3 player in the league at 25 years old, you have to do it.
And that's exactly what the Mavs did.
Exactly.
Now, again, then they had the benefit of they fell into the number 1 overall pick.
And coming off an NBA Finals appearance, by the way, the year prior.
That's exactly right. But then, okay, so now all of a sudden they make this trade. It backfires in their face, but they stumble into the number 1 pick. And they've got Cooper Flagg, and everyone's excited. Maybe the Mavs will be good in the West. And they get off to an awful start. And now here we are, nowhere near a year since Luka was traded. And the Mavs move on from Nico Harrison, which also begs this question, or begs the only question. Why was Nico Harrison allowed to make that trade if just months later he would be relieved of his duties?
So, first up, Anthony Davis has played in 14 of 46 games that he could have played in for the Mavs because, shocker, he's injured.
Remember his first game? He was like amazing. Then he got hurt like in half.
First 3 quarters, he was like the best player.
Incredible.
And then he gets injured. He had like 40 and 20 in like 3 quarters. Then he sprains his knee or whatever. The Kyrie injury fluke, you couldn't have predicted that. You got Cooper Flagg, that's great, but it's not just Cooper Flagg.
You didn't get Victor Wembanyama.
You went out and you signed Klay Thompson, and his career is done. Like, unfortunately, those injuries have caught up to him. He's done.
Yep.
And Anthony Davis is like the main piece of that trade. And what did you expect? He was gonna get hurt. Now, I don't know the Mavs owner's name. The new guy, right? Whatever his name is, right? But there's an interesting theory out there.
Patrick Dumont.
Yeah. There's an interesting theory as to why the Mavs fired Nico Harrison when they did today. Did you hear about this?
No, I'd like to hear it. I'm very curious.
So the other night, I don't know if it was like last night or a couple nights ago, but it was very recently.
Mm-hmm.
The jersey thing.
The owner of the Mavericks was sitting courtside, seen talking to a Mavericks fan wearing a Luka Doncic Lakers jersey.
Fair.
And there are lip readers out there because people have filmed this, and they are saying that the owner of the Mavericks relayed to this fan who was expressing his anger about them trading away Luka, telling this fan, yeah, we made a mistake.
And this was the owner, Patrick Dumont.
Correct. And then, I don't know exactly when this game was, but it was very recently. 48 hours later, they fired Nico Harrison.
It was Monday because they were on
the
road home.
It was against the Bucks.
It was last night against the Bucks because that was their last home game.
So there is this theory going around that this fan, random fan wearing a Luka jersey, talking to the owner of the Mavs courtside for the game,
the process.
Put it in the Mavericks owner's head like, oh, you know what? This was bad. And by the way, if anybody out there, like the Mavericks owner, stupid, should have never okayed this trade. But Shams was on ESPN today, and I take Shams, like his word is gospel when it comes to NBA reporting.
So opposite of Nightengale with baseball.
100%. When he is saying and he is reporting that this trade of Luka to the Lakers was 100% Nico Harrison's idea and decision, then I believe him. That's what happened.
Let me ask you this, because here's the thing. They did land the number 1 pick, and who knows what their future looks like, and they have some pieces. But wouldn't you agree that and maybe it's too early to say this, but I'm going to say it. I'm sure you would say the same thing. Cooper Flagg is not going to have the impact in the NBA that approaches anything close to the impact that Luka Doncic has had and will have in the NBA. Is that fair to say?
Yeah.
It's like you watch Cooper Flagg. He's going to be a nice player, I'm sure. I'm sure he's going to be a good player. But we watched opening night, and it's not fair to put it all on that. But like a Victor Wembanyama talent or a Luka talent and then a Cooper Flagg talent, I don't think you can put them in the same basket. There's this top 5 type player, the Giannis's of the world, the Kevin Durant's, the Steph Curry's. And then there's everyone else. And Cooper Flagg is not going to, and maybe I'm wrong, but I think you agree. Is Cooper ever going to be like this top 3
type absurd freak talent? I don't think so.
Like right now, and it's early on in his career, so it's probably not fair to say, but like when you watch Cooper Flag play at the NBA level, what does he have that you're like, okay, that's it, that could be an elite, that could turn him into an elite player in the league?
You tell me. I mean, he's skilled. He doesn't have a lot of size by the NBA.
Like, would you agree he could be like an 18-8 guy, 18-9 guy?
I was gonna say, can he ever
10?
be? I was gonna say, could he ever be 20-10? That would be really impressive to me. But I feel like that's
not top 10 player in the league.
And don't you feel like that's the ceiling? Like, I don't understand how he's going to impact the game beyond that. What's he going to do at his size and his physical? I just don't understand. Like, I watch Cooper Flag, and this isn't his fault that he's not Victor Wembanyama, but he's not. It's not his fault he's not Luka Doncic.
No one's Victor Wembanyama.
But you know what I mean? But when you're talking about the Lukas and the Victors and the Stephs, they have these unbelievably unique unicorn skill sets that Cooper Flag doesn't necessarily possess.
It just, I get the whole Cooper Flag thing, but it's beyond that with Nico Harrison.
No, I agree.
Like, if they didn't take Cooper Flag with the number one pick,
you had to.
You had to.
I don't know who. I think it's a good class. I think VJ Edgecombe's good. I think Dylan Harper's good. I think Ace Bailey's good.
Mm-hmm. But like, you had to take Cooper Flag.
Yeah, definitely.
It goes back to, like, you're not firing Nico Harrison because he drafted Cooper Flag.
No. I agree with that.
You're firing Nico Harrison because he traded away a franchise cornerstone 25-year-old, just took you to the NBA Finals, gonna be a Hall of Famer. He's a walking triple-double. Yeah, he's a little fat, but he still can average 30, 10, and 10 every game. You traded away that
for AD,
for Anthony Davis, who's always hurt. And what else?
Yeah, you didn't get like 10 first-round picks.
In Flag's defense, last night was the first night that they didn't have him starting at point guard. They started somebody else and actually let him play
really
forward.
Last night,
he had 26 points, 9 boards, and 4 assists in 35 minutes.
Good.
So we'll see now that they're not actually going, hey, you're forward, but we're going to put you at point guard because we suck and we don't have anybody else that can do it. So I want to see when he's in his natural position.
But the thing is, on bad teams, someone's got to score.
It's so true.
So,
That's a
like,
good point.
Someone's got to score on a bad team.
Right. There's still enough. Right. It's a good point. It's a 48-minute game.
Right.
And even if you lose 120 to 108, you have 108 points.
There's a lot of players in the NBA that could put up 35 points, but
are you on a good team?
That doesn't mean that they're like a winning player. They're just on a really bad team that has to have someone score.
Andre Hagverdian coming up. East Village Times covers the Aztecs. They have a huge game coming up on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. He will join us at 4 p.m. We'll give away Aztec tickets coming up as well. If you missed Mike Farron from MLB Network Radio, you'll hear our conversation at 4:30. This is Jon and Jim. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Andre Hekverdian will join us in 12 minutes. We buried the lead, and it is a massive lead. We buried the lead. A parade is coming to the city of San Diego as soon as any moment.
Yes.
The Padres have beat the Dodgers in the GM pickleball tournament that was held in Las Vegas. The first ever GM meeting pickleball tournament was Padres over Dodgers, which will be celebrated by hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of San Diegans in the coming days.
Yeah, take that, LA.
We're number one.
Yeah, we don't care about the World Series stuff and all the regular season baseball stuff, whatever. But when it comes to the pickleball event that's held somewhere with some people, Josh and AJ.
Right.
That combination, I can see them being good. That's probably the team.
The dynamic duo.
GM and
Batman and Robin.
GM and Vice President of Baseball Operations potentially any moment now.
Look,
they have taken it back. Now this is the first ever pickleball tournament.
We are pivoting here in San Diego
to pickleball.
We aren't going to cover
the baseball team.
No, we're not going to cover the baseball team.
It's too hard.
No, we're going to be covering still the Padres, but the Padres pickleball team going forward,
which plays one time a year for one day at the GM meetings.
So we will have 364 days to discuss next year's pickleball tournament, the GM meetings.
Can't wait. Can they go back to back?
As the Padres will be the defending pickleball champions. And everything rides on this tournament next year. We've already won the first one. The parade will be TBD. I believe it's either the end of this week or
depending on the weather.
The weather might play a factor, so it could be the start of next week, right? But look, we are pivoting in San Diego. We're only going to be raising pickleball banners from now on.
Yeah, forget about anything else.
So if you expect baseball talk on the station anymore, no.
Jesse Rogers.
Pickleball talk.
This was Jesse Rogers 4 hours ago. He reports on baseball for ESPN with Jeff Passan. First important news from the GM meetings in Vegas. The Padres won the inaugural front office pickleball tournament last night. They beat, in all caps, the Dodgers to take home the hardware.
Wow.
Remember, this is a Dodgers team that has invested in pickleball. You think about some of the analytics, the rackets they're using.
Yeah, they've spent hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars.
Just hundreds of dollars.
I mean, a lot of it's been deferred, right? They have the best pickleball. What's it called? I should
been deferred.
I need to be a pickleball expert very quickly here.
Do you think there was trash talking like after the Padres won, the Dodgers executives walking off for like, we won the World Series?
Like suck it.
Yeah. Or like, do you think the Padres are like, now we're even, or like we're better than you?
I need to ask ChatGPT, what do I need to know to become a pickleball expert?
Like how to play or how to cover it? Because there isn't anyone that covers it.
Do you think they'd be like the Lakers when they won the NBA Cup? Like, oh, this is just as good as like winning an actual title.
It's ridiculous. By the way, the GM meetings, which are underway ever since last night, according to Jesse Rogers, nothing. Is anything happened? Has anything happened out of the GM meeting so far?
Why would anything happen?
I like news. Normally, Scott Boras can show up at the GM meetings.
Not gonna show up at the GM meetings.
I think he shows up at the GM meetings.
Maybe like the last day. I don't even know.
The GM meetings are covered by media. Jesse Rogers is there.
I know.
Your dear friend and former colleague Marty Caswell has covered a number of GM meetings in her
Boob
career.
Nightengale is there.
Yeah, exactly. That's where he learned that Tatis was going to be traded.
I
mean, I'm not expecting anything sizable, but I don't know. Give me something on the lockout.
What do you?
Give me something.
Nothing's going to happen.
But this is. I want something. That's why are we having GM meetings?
Well,
if I'm not going to get anything.
When you want something, you're likely not going to get something.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Like, here we go. Here's some news I just saw about MLB Now. D-backs EVP and GM Mike Hazen said on trading their star players like Ketel Marte, quote, it's mostly unlikely for that stuff to happen. So there you go. There's some news for you.
That is news. And I just put it into X and search GM meetings. And I got that each National League baseball operations team will meet with the media this afternoon.
Wow.
That was as of 26 minutes ago. Plus, the Yankees are in the lead pursuing Japanese ace Tatsuya Imai. So Tatsuya Imai might be coming over from Japan. I need more news related to the Japanese players that will be posted this offseason. Because I want to say on Friday,
There was some rumors about Japanese players that were going to be posted. Weren't the Padres in the lead for someone?
No.
You had to talk about that on Friday, did you not? That would have been my whole show.
They're not in lead for anybody.
They are. The odds suggest they're in the lead for someone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Remember?
Murakami.
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So this is hilarious. Did you see the tweet?
Yeah.
San Diego celebrating the 2025 GM meeting pickleball championship with the riot downtown.
No, that's always the joke. It was like because that was after
and
the
people think that's like real.
Oh, so that's why I always do it. That's why every Padres fan out there will put it out because it's like fishing for that idiot Dodger fan that actually thinks it's real.
They're really celebrating a win over the Diamondbacks this September.
Yeah.
So anyway, the only news so far out of the GM meetings is that the Padres won the pickleball tournament. Are we waiting for an AJ Preller extension at the GM meetings to be announced? I mean, I'm not holding my breath that we get a Preller extension press release. Maybe that comes out of the GM meetings.
At this point, I don't even know if they're going to even give him a contract extension or they're going to even announce anything.
They're like, your contract's up?
Like, oh, didn't even know that.
Something's fishy there, man. There is something fishy about the way that is playing out. I'm just telling you right now, there's something fishy. Is this about power? Is this about elevating Josh Stein? Is this about years? Something's not right that a season ends October 2nd. You've got a lame duck GM and he's hiring managers and he hasn't been extended. Something is weird operationally or organizationally for that to be playing
it's the
out.
Padres. What do you expect?
I guess that maybe that's what
we started the show with how weird and dysfunctional this franchise is and how they don't operate normally.
That was about Preller.
Yeah, but
this
still,
ain't Preller's fault.
It's everybody in that organization, dude. Everybody is operating on weird levels.
Why would you say that about John Seidler? That's not how you feel. You've seen him speak with the media so many times. That's not how he is.
Yeah, guy's a coward.
Wow.
What he won't speak. I don't care that he's shy. Like, come on, man. Step up to the plate. You're the owner of a billion-dollar corporation. You have to be held accountable. Sorry, that's the job. And if you didn't want the job, you shouldn't have taken it.
Yeah, like sometimes you got to do things you don't want to do.
100%.
How many times have we had to do things we don't want to do?
All the time.
Were we like 4-hour show?
Yay. No, we never said that.
All right. Andre Hagverdian covers the Aztecs. Let's get into this upcoming Saturday night. First place on the line in the Mountain West. We'll give away Aztec tickets on the other side of that conversation as well. San Diego State, Boise State, Saturday at 7:30. Andre Hagverdian covers the Aztecs for the East Village Times. Will join us next on Jon and Jim. All right, hey guys, it is Jon and Jim again for our friends over at the all-new Jamul Casino Resort. The Players Place are now open, their hotel and spa. It's the next level of luxury. As you know, you can treat yourself to a stunning new stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
Yeah, Johnny, you can savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23. From their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to the luxurious VIP endless dining experience each evening, indulge in chef-curated specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
I love a good spa, and now open the spa over at Jamul Casino Resort. You can unwind in style, experience pure relaxation with indulgent treatments, serene spaces, and a retreat designed to refresh your body and mind. Only at Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place.
This update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. NBA news of the day. Nico Harrison has been fired as the GM of the Dallas Mavericks. I wonder why. It's 9 months after he traded away Luka Doncic. And NFL news of the day. Second overall pick, Travis Hunter. His season is officially over as he was placed on IR today after undergoing surgery on his right knee. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
They are Jon and Jim.
Where do you think I'm going with the congratulations in order? You should know.
I do know this.
Final seconds. Bird is going to dribble it out. And the Aztecs are going to win today at Viejas. Win number 200 in the career for Brian Dusher. San Diego State over Idaho State, 73-57.
San Diego State, they've got a week off. 200 wins, 68 losses.
Is that good?
In 8+ years. Yeah, it's very good. The winning percentage is right around 750.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim. We're with you until 6 p.m. We have Aztec football tickets to give away coming up after our conversation right now with Andre Hagverdian. He covers the Aztecs football team for the East Village Times. They have Boise State in a battle for first place in the Mountain West Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium, as big as it gets in the Mountain West, probably the biggest game to date this year in the Mountain West. We played Saturday night in San Diego. So, Andre, always appreciate you taking time for us. By the way, congratulations on your honeymoon as well.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, must be nice.
And your wedding and your marriage. So, congratulations on that. Let's get to football, though. Okay. All right. So, do you take anything away from what happened this past Saturday? Is it impactful moving forward? The 38-6 loss at Hawaii. What impact, if any, does that have moving forward on San Diego State?
I think it's impactful, obviously, in the standings. It makes this game against Boise, critical, if not necessary. I think what was concerning was the offensive struggles, not just on Saturday night, but the last 3 games since the bye. So I think, the defense was probably due for a letdown, especially without star Chris Johnson at corner. Special teams, gave up a touchdown and missed a kick. But the offense, I think, is the most glaring issue that I think needs to be addressed moving forward if they do want to contend for a championship.
When you look at this weekend, weather could be a factor once again. It seemed like the rain played some type of role in Hawaii. Do you think that could be a factor in this upcoming weekend against Boise, or with how they played on Saturday in Hawaii with rain, maybe they're better equipped now for Boise on Saturday with potential rain? What's your feelings and thoughts on that?
I definitely think it impacted them. I asked the players, Trey White and Lucky Sutton, yesterday at the press conference, and they said, well, both teams had to play in the rain. So, it didn't have an impact, but I do think it did. I don't think the team was ready to deal with it. Whether it's going to impact this coming week, the Boise State doesn't have the passing attack that Hawaii had. I think this game is going to probably be a low-scoring game based on the running game for both teams anyway. So it actually might not really play much of a factor, at least that it did last week, if it is raining.
Andre Hagverdian, East Village Times, with us right now, and Jon and Jim will give away Aztec tickets coming up in about 10 minutes. So Boise's starting quarterback, who led them to the CFP last year, Maddox Madsen, is out. He was hurt in their last game. That was about 2 weeks ago, because that was against Fresno State. They've had the bye. What do you see as the impact of that? They're a run-first team. They want to establish the run to establish the pass. How easy or difficult will it be for them to overcome losing a veteran quarterback like Madsen that's won as often as he has?
Yeah, he was the preseason offensive player of the year for a reason. So not having him is a big issue. But their backup, Cupforth, he's had 2 weeks to prepare for San Diego State's defense. It's given their coaching staff 2 weeks to kind of cater the game plan more to his strengths. I do think they're going to lean on their 3-headed running back trio heavily in this one. So it's tough to say, how much passing they're going to do, but I think looking back at the Fresno game, he was kind of put in the middle of the game unexpectedly. But having 2 weeks to kind of prepare, you're probably going to see a better version of Cutforth. Now, San Diego State, obviously coming off of their defensive performance, is going to be even more primed to make sure to show that one was, unlike the previous 6 games. So I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup.
Jayden Denigal, his last 3 outings here, he has a total of 5 interceptions and just 1 touchdown thrown. He did not play well against Hawaii, 10 for 27. Against Wyoming, he was 11 for 22. Fresno, 11 for 18. He's looked off recently. Do you think that could be due to maybe an injury that he's maybe dealing with? Or is there concern with Jayden Denigal that he's regressing here instead of getting better like we hope to see throughout the course of this season?
He's definitely regressed these last 3 weeks. He's definitely injured as well. I mean, he's been questionable for several games. Sean Lewis mentioned yesterday he's getting limited reps in practice, which is even more of an indicator that he's probably not fully healthy. Now, the fact that the staff still feels that he gives them the best chance of winning, I think says a lot. But he is going to have to make more plays in the passing game, because I think teams are going to gear up against Lucky Sutton and that running attack, especially Hawaii did that. And I think Denigal is going to have to play better. Finding Jordan Napier, who's a Bolitnikoff Award watch list nominee. He only had 2 targets last game. I think he only has 78 receiving yards in the last 3 games. They're going to have to look to get that connection going again, because before the bye week, they were on fire.
Andre Verdian with us right now, covers the Aztecs for the East Village Times. We'll give away some Aztec football tickets coming up in a few minutes. As you know, Andre, the last time San Diego State lost, they entered a bye week, but they came out in that next game against Cal like with their hair on fire, so to speak. I mean, they played incredible football, led by their defense, which has led them by and large this year. Did you get the feeling yesterday that once again they're highly motivated to overcome their performance from this past week against Hawaii and put that behind them come this weekend?
Absolutely. I think the team definitely has the right mindset, and they've proven to bounce back after a bad loss. It's just a matter of, who you're playing and where you're playing and what you can do to make sure that you bring your best game. I mean, I think the defense will bounce back. I think we haven't seen or heard Chris Johnson's availability yet. We might have to wait until the first availability report comes out on Thursday night for that status, but getting him back is going to be crucial. But yeah, the team, they understand that this is an important game, not just because of, first place, but Boise State obviously has been the team of the conference for so many years. They played in the playoff last year. I think this is a game that it's not going to be hard for the team to get up for this one.
Chris Johnson, obviously, as you mentioned, a huge piece of the defensive puzzle here. But Tana Latui, he's now out for the year. I don't know how much impact was missed from him against Hawaii, because it felt like just the entire team defensively did not play well. But going forward, how could you see the loss of Tana Latui from also a leadership standpoint and on the field? How much could that hurt this defense going forward?
It definitely has an impact. I mean, I agree with you on the leadership aspect. He's a captain. Even earlier in the season when he was missing games, he was still dressing. He was still on the sideline, helping players out. Mr. Williams came in and played and started 2 games and played really well. The Cal game where they shut out Cal, Latuli didn't play in that one. So I don't know how much impact it had on the Hawaii game, but just not having Tano dressed and out there, I think is a big loss emotionally. But having that depth with not just Mr. Williams, but Brady Anderson, DJ Herman, I think they have enough. And then Owen Chambliss has been playing exceptional this year, leading the team in tackles. So I think they have enough there to overcome that loss.
Final one for me is just kind of a statement. I'm curious to get your just feel on the game. Aren't you kind of fascinated by this? Like San Diego State coming off the disappointing loss, Boise State coming off a disappointing loss. Boise is without their starting quarterback. Like, do you have a good feel? I don't have a great feel for how this game is going to play out. I could be convinced either way. Like Boise puts the pieces together, or San Diego State puts the pieces together. What's your feel on this?
I mean, I think both teams are going to come out ready to play. I think it's going to be a low-scoring battle, defensive battle, just because I think both defenses are the strengths of these teams right now, considering the injuries. So it's, special teams could play a big factor and turnovers. Jim mentioned the turnovers lately. I think they have the San Diego State has 8 turnovers in the last 3 games after only 2 in the first 6. So I think they're going to need to rely on Lucky Sutton protecting the ball and the defense taking the ball away from Boise State. But I do expect a low-scoring defense battle here.
Yeah, no, I can see that as well. Absolutely. Andre, appreciate the insight and the perspective. We will see you at Snapdragon Stadium this weekend. And as always, we appreciate you hopping on.
Thanks, guys.
All right, good stuff. Andre Hagverdian. Again, you can check him out at the East Village Times covering San Diego State football. We'll have it for you Saturday night at 7:30. You can't understate the importance. The winner likely has a very good chance to host the Mountain West Championship game. The loser has a very good chance of not being in the Mountain West Championship game. So that's what's on the line. Winner likely hosts, loser likely doesn't play in the game.
I just hate that, of course, it's expected to rain this entire weekend. like, really?
I know.
Are you serious?
It's funny because it's like, oh, we can't catch a break in San Diego. I mean, we do catch a lot of breaks. It doesn't typically.
Weather-wise, this place is all about catching breaks.
Exactly. So we always catch breaks. So, I mean, maybe they're it's going to rain. I mean, it's part of it.
When it rains, it feels like that's the anomaly.
Yeah.
And it's like, why can't it rain next weekend?
Right.
Like, why does it have to rain this Saturday against freaking Boise?
What I've always learned about weather too, though, like having worked in the minor, nobody has any clue. Like it could rain at 2 p.m., but then be not raining at 7 p.m. Or it could be beautiful at 2 p.m. and then be pouring at 7 p.m. Isn't just part of it. The good thing with Sean Lewis, having played at Wisconsin and coached in the MAC at Kent State,
just deal with it.
He could care less. Like he's not sitting around like you and I, like, oh, my rain. Yeah. Now, I do think they were caught off guard in Hawaii because it went from gorgeous day to
That's
rainy.
Hawaii weather for you, though.
But it just sat there for 6 hours. I don't even they're just sitting there in the pouring rain. I think they'll be better equipped to deal with it this weekend if it is forecasted to rain and they're the home team. But it's a part of the equation. And you're right. I mean, does San Diego State play a lot of games in the rain? Let me answer that for you. No. Their last game they played that started in rain before Hawaii was in 2018. Was the last time they played in rain.
Was that against Air Force?
It was 2017, the Air Force game. The 2018 game was the bowl game. Remember the Ohio shutout loss in Texas in pouring rain?
I think I remember
20-0.
I remember watching the Air Force San Diego State game, and I think it was
2017.
But it was I remember it being in a press box.
Were you at home? There was a rain game at home the next year. At Air Force, there was a lightning delay for 2 hours.
No, I was in the press box at Petco Park. But that's not right.
It might be right. I don't know what year that would have been.
I just
remember a 2-hour
remember
delay at Air Force.
I just remember the rain going. It was like sideways.
Yeah, they had one of those at home. You're right. They had one of those at home as well, but it doesn't rain often, as we know, obviously, here in San Diego. All right, call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see the Aztecs take on Boise State on Saturday night at Snapdragon Stadium. We do have 2 free tickets for you. A huge game for San Diego State. You can be there to support. Call right now if you want those tickets. Caller 5. You are going 877-767-4760. Caller 5. 2 free tickets to Saturday showdown against Boise State at Snapdragon Stadium. 877-767-4760. Call right now. 877-767-4760. The wrap on the other side. We'll hear from Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio at 4:30. This is Jon and Jim.
All right, if you missed Mike Fair on MLB Network Radio, you'll hear that coming up in about 15 minutes. Plus, Jeff Passan's big move for the Padres this offseason. We'll share that with you later this hour. But right now, let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Who's the best team in college football?
Ohio State.
Is that it?
You asked me a question. Who's the best team in college football? I answered.
You don't think it's those Indiana Hoosiers that went into Happy Valley and came back to win 27-24 at the buzzer like that?
I mean, the team that barely beat a 3-5 Penn State team without their starting quarterback? That in Indiana?
Yeah, without their head coach.
And their head coach?
That is Indiana's first to ever win at Penn State, which is unbelievable.
One of the most amazing catches you'll ever see, though.
It was amazing, but I don't put Indiana on the same level as Ohio State. I can't do that. They don't play each other. I don't believe in the regular season.
They do
can
not.
make the Big Ten championship, though. Texas A&M's been terrific, but yeah, I would agree with you. I think Ohio State is at least clear of the rest of college football right now. Doesn't mean that they couldn't get a good game in the playoff from someone. I don't know, Alabama, Georgia, whomever. But Ohio State, back-to-back, it's probably likely at this point as opposed to unlikely. 9-0 for the Buckeyes. Again, led by San Diego. Julian Sayin, who might be the Heisman favorite right now for the Buckeyes.
I want to see, just real quick. So, Ohio State, they play UCLA this weekend. They're going to crush them. Just want to look at who they played. All right, so Texas, the first game of the year.
Yep.
14-7. They were at home. And then after that, and they played Illinois, who's ranked 17th. They won 34-16 on the road. They played nobody.
Yeah, but that's because they're the best team.
I know, but
you're right. They're not like in the SEC where they're playing Texas A&M and Georgia every week.
Give me a break. They've played nobody. And we'll see if they can finally beat Michigan. They haven't beat Michigan in forever.
Yeah, 3 or 4 years in a row.
And they play Michigan at the Big House. So
is that in Ann Arbor? I didn't realize that.
So if they beat Michigan by 2 or 3 scores, okay. But they play UCLA and Rutgers before Michigan.
Yeah, but these aren't your father's Scarlet Knights at Rutgers anymore. They
They're
might only win by
powerhouse, remember?
60.
And give me a worse schedule than that for the number 1 team in the
That's
country.
the problem with the Big Ten, man. 18 teams means you miss half of the league. It's just, yeah. I agree with that, but they're still dominant. I don't care who they're playing. It's Ohio State. They're allowing 5 points a game. When you allow 5 points a game, you're good.
I could argue that Indiana has a better resume than Ohio State.
All right, then you like the Hoosiers. As
They
the best team.
beat number 9 Illinois. They beat Oregon at the time number 3 on the road. They just beat Penn State's whatever, but still, they have a better resume than Ohio State. Indiana's getting screwed.
Hot take. Next question.
Do you think the Giants should hire Bill Belichick?
No.
You don't think that's a match made in heaven?
I don't know who the hell the Giants are going to hire, nor do I really care. But just for the drama and the lulz, just hire Bill Belichick. Screw it.
What about Belichick as the DC for Tom Coughlin?
Oh, there you go. Get the oldest coaches possible.
Yeah, what do you think? No, I think that if the Giants hired Bill Belichick off this train wreck that's going on at North Carolina, that would be almost too good to believe if they were dumb enough to consider doing something like that.
I got it. Hire Tom Coughlin to be their head coach. Hire Bill Belichick to be their DC. Hire Mike Shanahan to be their offensive coordinator.
I like that.
Just get all the old dudes in one room.
I don't know who they're going to hire. It's not a good job. They're not good.
Not a good
should
job?
not hire Bill Belichick.
Good job.
Tell me why it's a good job. They have Jackson Dart.
I would say that if you look at the returning players next year, Scatterbo, Neighbors, you have Dart, who's looked good. Their defensive line is pretty legit. It's not the worst job in the world, is what I'm saying. Their GM is awful. So if you got rid of the GM, that's probably ideal. But it's not the worst job.
I mean, look at their last 10 years. One year they were over 500.
Okay.
They've been awful.
But I think they have some nice pieces, is what I'm trying to say.
They had Saquon Barkley. That was a nice piece, and they did nothing.
But they had nothing around Saquon. At least now you have Scatterbo. You have Neighbors when he's healthy.
They had Danny Jones.
Danny Dimes.
Danny Dimes. Next question.
Belichick also said today, I'm worried about Wake Forest, not the Giants.
Okay,
he claimed.
me too. I'm worried about Wake Forest.
Okay, yeah.
I would be too. Do you expect the Padres to make a big trade this offseason?
Big trade.
Big trade.
Nope.
Toddy.
No, because what do they have to trade?
Jakey Crony.
Jakey Crony?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no on that one.
What about Darvish in a 3-team deal?
For what?
Nothing. You can trade him away.
Some candy? Like,
I'd like to see them go out and make an aggressive trade to bring in, like, remember that one offseason they brought in Snell, Darvish, Musgrove?
Yeah, it was 2021.
I mean, I would like to see something.
Good luck.
Like one of those trades, but I don't know what they have to trade. Maybe the pickleball team for a starting pitcher.
Yeah, whoever's on the pickleball team. Can you
Can you go to Tampa?
Exactly.
Next question.
Were you impressed by the Eagles last night?
How about that?
No,
Dominant performance.
I was not impressed by the Eagles. By the way, couldn't watch a second of the game because we have YouTube TV. And we also went out to a dinner last night. But when we looked at the score, I was like, 10-7?
How about that defense?
How about that offense?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding. Obviously, I think it says a lot about Green Bay, too. You scored 7 points at home. Like, does it mean the Eagles are good? No, but it might mean the Packers are bad. Like, and they had a chance to win that game late. They didn't take advantage of. So, yeah, an uninspiring performance probably by both teams. And now the Eagles, I just was at, I think ESPN.com or NFL.com is atop the NFL power rankings. There's no way.
Eagles?
There's no way the Eagles are the best team in the NFL right now.
No.
There's just no way you could make that argument. All right, Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio. On the other side, Jon and Jim.
This update's brought to you by mattress firm Nico Harrison, today fired as the GM of the Dallas Mavericks. I wonder why. In NFL news of the day, Travis Hunter, his season is officially over. He's going on IR, the number 2 overall pick in this past NFL draft. He underwent knee surgery today on his right knee. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
All right, Mike Farron, MLB Network Radio. If you missed our conversation, we started by asking him if he found the hiring of Craig Stammen to be a cumbersome process or not.
I mean, I don't think it matters how you get the right guy, so long as you get the right guy. And I guess it remains to be seen whether or not Stammen is that. But I mean, I think it's pretty clear that this whole search caught them by surprise, right? With Mike Shilt's sudden retirement.
Sure.
I mean, I think it sounds like it's something that Schilt had been considering, but it's not like the Padres had thrown together a list of managerial candidates, so they kind of had to scramble. I think it's unusual to have, somebody who has no experience formally coaching or managing, even somebody who's been in your organization and worked with players and been in player development and been a special assistant, to like suddenly go from interviewing people to be interviewed. But maybe it speaks to how they could not find the right fit. And I do think that just every one of these jobs is a custom fit, right? Just because you're a good manager someplace doesn't mean you'll be a good one somewhere else. I mean, we've seen that, heck, we've seen that recently with the Padres, right? Like Bob Melvin, super well respected, but it wasn't a great fit in San Diego. So I think in the end, this is one of those situations where the end justifies the means, and that's probably more important than the process and how it got there.
We were talking about this yesterday, Mike, looking at maybe AJ's playing 4D chess here. When you look at Craig Stammen, former reliever, right? There's no other manager in baseball that's a former full-time reliever. The expectation going into, his inaugural season next year is like he's going to have this bullpen and manage his bullpen very well, along with Ruben Niebla. I mean, could you look at middle relievers if this worked out here with Craig Stammen being kind of like, hey, this guy knows what to do with the bullpen. This guy, is really good with managing a pitching staff. Like maybe in the future, maybe more middle relievers will become managers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible, but listen, managers have a lot more help now in putting together a bullpen plan than they did before. Right. And so while Stammen's, like Craig Stammen, I think, was a really underrated pitcher over the decade that he pitched, because he was a guy that would routinely give you 3 innings and then come back 2 days later and give you a couple more. I mean, I think he was a valuable pitcher and really helped to save some of the young arms and some bad Padres teams too. I mean, he was a pretty good pitcher in Washington too. Like there are a bunch of things that he did, I think, that were really good. I don't know if it necessarily prepares him to manage a bullpen any more than just having an understanding of what matchups are supposed to be. But so much of that feel of managing a bullpen and what was important in it, say 25 years ago, has been whittled away, and the playing field evened by the amount of information that's available, right? Like any manager is going to get criticized when the move doesn't work, right? But very rarely are they putting guys in situations anymore that make you go, what are you thinking, because of the matchups? And so I don't know if just that there's going to be some sort of inherent success for Stammen on that. I mean, I would think, he would certainly should understand, because he has started in the past, what fatigue looks like, right, for starting pitchers. But, I don't know that inherently is going to make him better. That said, I do think you're right in that, if he has success as a manager, I think maybe it opens up the possibility of, other middle relievers going there, because it is a copycat league. Just like if Tony Vitello has success in San Francisco, maybe all of a sudden people are knocking out college coaching doors.
Yeah, it's a really good point. Mike Farron with us right now, MLB Network Radio. Did you see the list that Bob Nightengale had produced about players that could be on the move this offseason? Whether you did or didn't, Fernando Tatis Jr.'s name was on that list. Yeah. He's got a full no trade clause. He's under control for 9 years. I mean, you don't see a world where Fernando Tatis Jr. is potentially moved at some point in the near future, do you?
I don't. I mean, I think some of that goes to, since Peter Seidler's death, there is a different level of austerity, let's say, within the ownership group in San Diego. And because it is their longest term commitment, and of those contracts is probably the easiest to move, just because, Manny Machado's still been great, but he's a little bit older, and Xander Bogaerts is older and has not been as good. So I think that's where some of that comes from. I mean, I don't know, are you moving Tatis for Acuna? Maybe you could do something like that, right?
Yeah,
which would be fun, right? Now that I said it out loud,
let's do it.
Sounds like it'd be really fun, right? Let's sign up for that. That's Joe Carter and Robbie Alomar for and Fred McGriff and Tony Fernandez. So sign me up for any of those. But I think it's highly unlikely that they would move him for all those reasons that you highlighted there. And because he's still young, and, he's one adjustment at the plate away from all of a sudden being this 35 homer bat again that plays elite defense in right field. And those guys don't grow on trees.
No, they don't. No, they do not. So we're early in the off season, free agency, we'll start picking up around the winter meetings, but with the looming potential lockout of next year, how do you view this off season when you have that kind of dark cloud hanging over everybody's head a little bit?
I think it's a fair question to ask, but I'm not sure that there's anything historically that tells us it's going to be anything other than normal. I don't know that all of a sudden teams are going to be shying away from signing multi-year deals. I mean, maybe some will, but shame on them, because they think that the financial system is going to change in such a way that would void contracts. I don't know. I think all of this that's being discussed and one, it's speculative, and two, a lot of it just reeks of penny wise, pound foolish, which is, I guess, what happens when you're in management and you have to spend hundreds of millions of dollars on something. But I'm not convinced that it's going to have a particularly big impact on this offseason. But that said, you're right that the lockout is looming, and I don't think teams are all that shy about saying that they're preparing for that. And I know I've talked to more people who say that their franchises are preparing for the lockout to be an extended one in various ways. And that continues to grow as opposed to lessen as we get close to a year from the CBA expiring. So I think the fear is pretty real. And I have some serious thoughts on that too. We could save them for another time if you'd like, but I think that this is really a bad look for baseball to be planning on stopping the game, even if it's in the off season.
Yeah, it would be a good way to ruin this show, by the way, because we spend a lot of time talking baseball, though we've been through some lockouts and we've been through
Go
COVID.
Aztecs.
Yeah, there we go, Aztecs, indeed.
Toreros.
There you go. Mike Farron with us right now, MLB Network Radio. As you know, Yu Darvish is out. You look at the Padres rotation without potentially a Dylan Cease, who's a free agent, without a Michael King, who's a free agent. They've got some internal options. I mean, how intriguing is it to you, or how dangerous is it potentially to consider a Mason Miller or an Adrian Morejon, who have had so much success in the bullpen? Do you believe the Padres will be tempted to try to convert either or both to some type of starter next year?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, listen, I had a chance to see Mason Miller as a starter in the fall league a couple of years ago, and I did not view him as a reliever. He was a guy that I was like, man, this guy's got a chance to be a pretty good starting pitcher, because it was a 3-pitch mix and a good frame. And listen, the A's moved him there because he hadn't had that many innings thrown, and he had battled injuries, and they felt like that was the best way to keep him healthy. Well, the last 2 years he's been healthy. He's a little bit older. Remember, I don't know how much you guys know his backstory when he was at Gardner-Webb, but he was a guy that had undiagnosed type 1 diabetes when he got to campus. And so that's something that took, I think, a physical toll on him. There were probably some adjustments that he needed to make, both in what his medication was and the insulin and how to handle that I think probably, one, caused him to not maybe be quite as good for most of his college career as he looks now. but two is part of the growing process for a young person who's dealing with that disease. So I think that there's that possibility that they do it. I think both guys are intriguing starting pitching candidates. I would be loath to put maybe both of them in the rotation, just because I think it gives you a little bit of concern in terms of the number of innings, and it might weaken a bullpen that I think is a little bit more questionable with Robert Suarez as a free agent. And obviously Jason Adam, it sounded like yesterday that he was pretty positive that he could be ready early in the season, but that was one of their great strengths. So my guess is that one of those guys at least gets a chance to start to open the year, and that let's say Michael King doesn't take the qualifying offer. All of a sudden, you're looking at some external additions to help fill out innings. And Nick Martinez is a free agent again. I actually think he'd be a great fit for the Padres. You know how good he was there.
Yeah, that's a really good point. One more, Mike, for me before you go, just 30,000 foot view. Like in the shadow of the Dodgers, specifically from the Padres' perspective, being in the NL West. And listen, the Blue Jays could have won the World Series. I mean, they came within inches of doing it, but they didn't. So ultimately, the Dodgers have won back-to-back World Series. Certainly, they're favored to do it again in 2026. Like from a strategy perspective, like if you're in AJ Preller's shoes or John Seidler's shoes, where do you go in the shadow of LA in an effort to equal what they're doing or surpass them at some point in the near future? Where do you even start that conversation?
Well, I mean, to me, I think and this is just my personal feeling on any of this, you cannot let what anybody else is in your division is doing dictate your ability to build the best club that you possibly can with the resources that you have available, because you don't know what's going to happen. We don't, like the Dodgers already have the oldest position player group that won a World Series in the last decade. Right, it was almost 31 years old as a group. I mean, you have to go back to the Yankees teams in the early 2000s, late 90s to have lineups that were that old. And remember, that was at the height of the steroid era. And I'd say that all those Yankee guys were using, but that was a time that the average age of lineups was significantly older because the aging curve turned. So I don't think there's a guarantee that the Dodgers are healthy enough, even with their depth, to make sure that they have, run away with the division again. And they certainly haven't run away with it the last 2 years. In fact, I think you can make a case that these were two of the weaker Dodgers squads, at least over the course of the regular season, that they've had in this last decade plus. So personally, I don't think you worry about the Dodgers. I think you build the best team you possibly can. Your goal is to get to the postseason. I know we've discussed how baseball's postseason is such that, the favorite doesn't always win. Or the better seed. And in fact, the Dodgers were the 3 seed this year, right? So I don't think you can focus on the Dodgers or should focus on the Dodgers. And I think that's kind of the way AJ Preller's made up, right? Like he wants to build the best team that he possibly can to give them the chance to either run down the Dodgers, or if they don't, like more importantly, give themselves a chance to win in the postseason. So I think that to me is the story with what I would be doing if I were advising the Padres. Don't worry about them. They're not your problem. Your problem is to win as many games as you can to get to the postseason and into the World Series.
Really good perspective and insight as always. That's why we bring you on. Mike Farron from MLB Network Radio. Mike, we appreciate you taking time for us, and we will do it again, hopefully at some point soon.
Sounds good, guys. Take care.
All right. On the other side, Jeff Passan has a perfect move for the Padres this offseason. What is it? We'll share that with you. Plus, we're giving away a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld for their event going on this holiday season. That's next on Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego Sports 760 congratulates our $5,000 winners. iHeartRadio's Thank a Teacher, powered by Donors Choose. Still time to nominate a public school teacher making a difference. Maybe they'll be one of our next winners of $5,000 to make over their classroom. Help us say thank you to the educator shaping our future. Nominate your favorite teacher now at iHeartRadio.com/teachers. Jim, Jeff Passan has fixed the Padres this offseason with one swift move.
Perfect. What is it?
It is a remarkable move, and this is under the headline of, I don't even know what the headline is.
Moves for teams to make in the offseason.
Perfect move. The perfect moves that teams can make this offseason. So what is the perfect move for the San Diego Padres, you might be asking?
Yeah, what do you got? I like this suspense.
All right, the perfect move for the Padres. Why can't I find this? Here it is. All right. The perfect transaction, per Jeff Passan. San Diego remains in financial limbo, limiting its options. I didn't really realize that. But he says the obvious area of need, however, is the rotation. Cease, King, free agents, Darvish, we get the deal. And 1 year after striking gold with Nick Pivetta, the Padres would love to do it again. The highest ceiling, low-cost starter might be an unfamiliar name, having spent the past 4 years in Asia. But the size and stuff are both big. And whoever gets him could reap the best return to America from Korea since Merrill Kelly. That's how big of a deal we're talking about. We are referring to free agent right-handed pitcher Cody Ponce or Ponce, depending on how you pronounce it. Cody Ponce or Cody Ponce could fix everything this offseason for the Padres. Are you excited? How do you feel about this? Is it hard for you to remain seated? Cody Ponce or Ponce.
I'm speechless. I didn't realize that was the move that was going to take this team over the top and get them to win their first World Series in franchise history.
The same Cody Ponce that with the Pirates in 2021 was 0-6 with a 7.04 ERA. Last time he was in the major leagues, that Cody Ponce. That's the one.
What are we talking about here?
Who in 20 games in his career in the major leagues has a 5.9 ERA and a -1 WAR.
Perfect. You know, one name that I'm done with Cody Ponce. I've already forgot about him. You know,
wow.
One name that I know, right? Shocking. Mike Farron mentioned to us, which I absolutely love the idea of, bring back Nick Martinez.
Over Cody Ponce?
Yes, John.
Can I just tell you Cody Ponce's numbers last year because I'm looking at them?
Dude, sure.
Listen to, does this change your opinion? No. Last year with Hamwa. This was with Hamwa.
This could all be fake to me.
Last year with Hamwa in the KBO.
Hamwa. Okay.
Listen to what he did last year with Hamwa. 17-1. This is with Hamwa. You don't traditionally win in Hamwa.
What's the like the Cy Young Award winner called in Korea?
He better have won it.
It's like the Golden Nuts or something.
It's not the Golden Nuts, you idiots.
But you know, it's like something stupid.
It's not that.
What's it called?
He went 17-1 with a 189, dude.
The Choi Dong Award.
Yeah,
the Choi Dong.
Yeah, the Dong Award.
Well, he had a 189. Listen to this.
You haven't made it until you won a donger.
180 innings, 128 hits, 252 strikeouts in 180 innings, 41 walks. Give this guy like 10 years. This guy's unbelievable.
What?
He's 31. He's about to be 32, but he went 17-1 last year with Hamwa. If that's how you say it.
Did he win the Dong Award?
I don't know if the Dong Award's been announced yet for 2025. Who won the KBO Cy Young in 2025? Is the season even over in Korea? Cody Ponce won it.
Give him a lifetime. I need a 10-year, $250 million deal for Cody Ponce.
But then again, last year they signed the guy that won the Dong Award.
Who was that?
Whoever it was, who had no relevance at all. Remember, he yo-yoed between AAA and the major leagues. He started in the rotation. The Dong Award winner. Who won the 2024 award winner? Come on. It was Kyle Hart.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Right? So
yeah.
you could have back-to-back Dong Award winners pitching for the Padres.
You could have 2 Dong Award winners?
Correct. Both. But you could put Kyle Hart and Cody Ponce in that rotation.
Give me all the Dong Award winners possible.
This guy, he was a unanimous pick for the Dong.
Wow.
He had a 189.
Wow.
The last 3 Dong winners have all been American, by the way.
Oh, that's an interesting note.
So Eric Fetty won it before Kyle Hart.
Oh wow.
So this, you don't see this as the perfect move? What were you saying after, what was your perfect move? Nick Martinez, you like Nick Martinez. The problem with Nick Martinez is what's he going to give you? 4.84 ERA?
Well, for the Reds last year, he had a 2.3 WAR, 11-14 with a 4.45, 26 game started. He pitched in 40 total games, 165 innings, and a 1.2 WHIP.
That's actually really valuable to appear in 40 games.
Dude, give me Nick Martinez
165
over Cody Pons, the Dong Award winner.
Really?
I would take Nick Martinez right now. Fits a need. Absolutely. We all know him here. I think with Ruben Niebla, like just get Nick Martinez on his team.
Okay, you're convincing me. Maybe that's the perfect move then. Maybe it's not Cody Ponce or Ponce.
He is a free agent. I don't know how much he would cost.
What was he making in Cincinnati? You don't have that in front of you?
Don't have that in front of me, John.
It should be in there.
Well, it's not.
He made he must have been like a qualifying offer, 1 year, $21 million.
Oof.
So he's going to cost you a little bit. Isn't that crazy? Nick Martinez is a 20-something million per year pitcher.
That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But hey, I would like Nick Martinez here.
Yeah.
I mean, 2024, he was 10-7 with a 3.10 ERA, 42 appearances, 16 starts, 142 and a third innings pitched. That's really good. He had a 4 WAR in 2024. A 4 WAR, John.
All right, so maybe I'm willing to move on from Cody Ponce.
Bro, I already have forgotten about Cody. Who?
He pitched to Cal Poly Pomona.
That's great.
He's a former second rounder.
Okay.
He's now 32.
Sorry to the Pons family, but I mean
17. Could the Padres use 17-1?
Enjoy your Dong Award. But like don't need you here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, again, his major league numbers aren't as good as his KBO numbers, where he's got a career 1.54 WHIP.
Yeah, like I want to see what like a healthy Michael King would do in the KBO.
Oh, he would shove. He would have like a 0 ERA.
They would have to create a new award for him because the Dong Award wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, you're all right. You're all right.
Like his
his what?
What?
All right. On the other side, back to what Bob Nightengale reported earlier this week. Could Fernando Tatis Jr. be on the move?
This week was like yesterday.
This offseason. Did we give away the 4-pack of tickets? We did not. Call right now if you want a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration. Caller 7, you are going. 877-767-4760. We've got a family 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld San Diego's Christmas celebration. Twinkling lights meet ocean delights. November 14th through January 4th, you can experience the magic of the season and meet incredible animals like belugas, penguins, and sea otters. Plus, check out a winter wonderland with a million dazzling lights and the all-new Clyde and Seymour's Christmas. Tickets and more at SeaWorldSanDiego.com. If you want that free 4-pack, call 877-767-4760. Final hour of Jon and Jim is next.
This update is brought to you by Mattress Firm. NBA news of the day. Nico Harrison is out as GM of the Dallas Mavericks. I wonder why. And NFL news of the day. Travis Hunter, number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft this past season. He is placed on IR today after undergoing surgery on his right knee. His season is officially over. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let the sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
They are Jon and Jim.
Where do you think I'm going with the congratulations in order? You should know.
I do know this.
Final seconds. Bird is going to dribble it out. And the Aztecs are going to win today at Viejas. Win number 200 in the career for Brian Dutcher. San Diego State over Idaho State. 73-57.
San Diego State, they've got a week off. 200 wins, 68 losses.
Is that good?
In 8+ years. Yeah, it's very good. The winning percentage is right around 750.
Now, live from the San Diego Sports 760 studios, it's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. Coming up at 6 p.m. Oh, it's Tuesday, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it's only Tuesday.
Yeah, I was going to say SDFC Midweek Live, but it's not. But coming up in 24 hours.
Jon is that excited for this week's Midweek Live. He can't
it's
wait.
just 25 hours away, SDF. I thought it was SDFC Midweek Live today and then Sean Lewis Show tomorrow, but it's actually SDFC Midweek Live tomorrow and Sean Lewis Show Thursday.
Can I make an argument right now?
Yeah, make an argument.
That Tuesday is the worst day of the week?
It's kind of a strong statement, but make the argument, yeah.
Okay.
It's worse than Monday because ... Because
you're already in it.
Yeah, right.
Like you're already in the week.
But you're nowhere close to the end of it.
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like at least when you get to this point on a Wednesday, Thursday's on the other side.
Downhill.
Which basically means it's almost Friday and boom, we're in the weekend.
100%.
All right. Mondays, like, okay, let's get back to it, get going. Tuesday just feels like a no man's land type of day. And so I would argue that Tuesday, not Wednesday, which most people would claim is the worst day of the week, or even a Monday, I would claim Tuesday is the worst day of the week. Because at least Monday, at this time of the year, you get Monday Night Football, right? Like,
if you have YouTube TV.
No. But if you had YouTube TV.
If you had YouTube TV. I mean, I don't like Monday's post-clock change. It's dark.
Take out the clock
Monday.
change. Just in a vacuum, just like not
Tuesday?
like factoring in, the time change and whatnot. Like even if it was during the summertime or even when there's no football on, then I would say Tuesday to me is the worst day of the week.
Right.
I don't mind Tuesdays because I have T-Mobile, and T-Mobile Tuesdays
Tuesdays.
That's when they give you all the freebie stuff. So, you want discounts on pizza or whatever it might be that week, that all drops on Tuesdays.
But to Jim's point, like,
take away that though.
Tuesday gets very little discussion. Of all the 7 days, everyone talks about Monday, they hate it. Everyone talks about Saturday and Sunday, they're the weekend days. Friday, it's Friday night.
Wednesday is like, oh,
it's hump day. Thursday is like, hey, it's the start of the weekend. Of all 7 of the days, I feel like Tuesday
never is talked about.
Is the least discussed day of the 7.
Yep. So I would argue Tuesday is the worst day of the week.
I mean, no, you made a compelling argument. I'm not going to fight it.
Because we look at the clock, it's 5:00. We're an hour out, right?
Hour out from what? The show ending.
Show ending.
Right.
The show ends at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But then the realization hits, oh, tomorrow's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's not Thursday.
No.
It's not Friday.
No. I mean, you can say the same thing about Monday, like the realization, like, all right, tomorrow's only Tuesday.
Mondays can be tough. Here's the thing. I've never looked at the days of the week. Like, I like, by and large, I like what I do.
Okay.
So because I like what I do, I never look at Monday like, oh, I got to go back to work. Right. Like I think a lot of people are like, oh, case of the Mondays, I got to go back to that office. I don't really look at it like that, but there is something psychological about once the clock changes and it's dark when we leave here that is a little bit of a hurdle.
I absolutely hate it. I think it just messes with your mind. It messes with your like emotion. I don't know. It just when I look outside right now and it's basically pitch black almost.
And did we need
It's
to
a joke.
change? And did we need to change the clock? I thought the clock was going wonderfully 2 weeks ago.
But here's the thing: even if they didn't change the clock, it was going to be dark at 6 o'clock. So
I know, but 5, 6 is a big deal.
So I'll take
No,
the
you're
extra
right.
hour of sleep, and
You're
it's
right.
still going to be dark regardless.
Maybe it's because maybe you're feeling this way, Jim, because of the Fernando Tatis Jr. news, which Bob Nightengale
Has been down the
reported
dumps.
earlier
Like,
today.
wow, this day sucks.
Do we have, Brent, because I know you're working on 2 computers, do we have the Bob Nightengale? So Bob Nightingale
Boob
earlier
Nightingale.
today goes on foul territory. Now, yesterday he reported that Tatis could be a player on the move this offseason. He backpedals on that, but has some really fascinating things to say about the Padres and Fernando Tatis Jr. So take a listen.
Well, they got so many backloaded contracts where they've lost money the last few years. When you talk to GMs around the land, they say these guys are in big time trouble. They're losing money even though they're back in the place. So you can't trade Manny Machado. You can't trade Xander Bogaerts. Tatis's contract, as big as it is actually movable. I don't think they'll trade him this winter, but I think at some point, you talk to GMs, at some point you're going to have to move him. You're going to have to get rid of one of these big contracts. You're not moving Darvish, you're not moving Musgrove or Machado or Bogaerts. He's a guy that's actually still has value, even with that big contract.
Yeah, but like, do they have to move Fernando Tatis Jr.? No, they don't.
Right.
Like, I don't get this narrative from the national media that like, oh, the Padres have to move one of these big contracts. No, they don't. Where?
Yeah, why do they have to? I don't get it.
Why-
either.
why?
They didn't have to move it last year.
No. Why do they have to move it? Makes no sense.
Yeah, what is this big reason to move Fernando Tatis? What is the reason? Because of the return? What return? I'd rather have the player perform. I mean, you're going to move him because of the return, or is it because of the money?
This team is in a win now mode. Even though the roster is in flux, they still have the core pieces returning. Why would you trade away your all-star right fielder? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And the only way it makes sense is if Fernando asks for a trade, then you have to like maybe look for a trade and see, because you don't want to have a disgruntled player on your team in your clubhouse. But even then,
He's
I'm
never
like,
once. He's
not-
only said that he loves playing here.
yeah, like, look, do I think Fernando Tatis Jr. has a lot left to be desired when it comes to his performance on the field? Like, yeah, I do. But still, he's better than any option they have in the organization. If they traded Fernando Tatis Jr., it makes no sense. The question, why do they have to trade? Do you know the books, Bob? Do you know what they're making? Do you know what their net revenue is?
He says they're losing money.
Does Bob know that? Because I don't think he knows that.
He said it definitively. It leads you down a path of, does Bob Nightingale know what he's talking about?
No. The answer to that is no. Mike Farron, nicest man on the planet. You could hear in his voice, he feels the same way.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, and Farron, who has been, I mean, first of all, everything Farron has ever told us basically has come to fruition. So he's dialed in, and he went down the same path we're going down, which is like, no, there's no reason to trade Fernando Tatis Jr. What you're looking for from Fernando Tatis Jr. next year is a complete resurgence offensively. Now, I've looked for that the last 2 years, 2024 and 2025. He didn't have that resurgence. So I can't guarantee he has it in 2026. But even Fernando as Fernando is a winning piece of the puzzle.
100%.
I mean, a big piece of the puzzle.
Frustrating at times, but
yeah. But again, his defense is really valuable, obviously. And I'm not going to sell you solely on it. I think he's capable of more offensively. No, I can't be sold on moving Fernando Tatis Jr. or the Padres have to do it. I just think that's foolish. I just think it's trying to, have some level of clout would be my guess.
Here's how you know Fernando Tatis Jr. is a valuable player to a team. 29 other teams would take Fernando Tatis Jr.
Mm-hmm.
Like, take the money equation out. If you asked any team in baseball, hey, do you want Fernando? Sure. Yeah, absolutely. You don't think fan bases would love to have Fernando Tatis Jr. on their team? Now, we watch it, and we watch him more closely than other teams' fan bases, so we know everything about Tatis and how frustrating he can be at times. But to go out there and put that out there and say that the Padres should look to trade Fernando Tatis Jr. to free up some money, why? You have no idea what you're talking about, Bob. Like, none. You were just throwing stuff out there for clicks because your boss told you needed to write an article and make it catchy, and you have no clue what you're talking about.
I would argue, dude, that if I was doing a draft of current Padres players, let's play this game. If you were doing a draft of current Padres players, would your first pick be Fernando Tatis Jr.? Mine probably would. It wouldn't be the veterans like a Manny Machado, certainly. Could it be like a Jackson Merrill? Maybe.
Are we adding the contract to the player or just the player alone? Like taking the contract?
I don't know. I haven't gone through it enough. But I mean, just think about age, performance, impact. Like what the player means to the team. You know, because now Machado's a year older. Yeah. And yes, I'm with you on Merrill. But like where else? I mean, am I going to start my team with Nick Pivetta? No. Over Fernando Tatis Jr.? That doesn't seemingly make sense. So I think if I was drafting the Padres players on last year's team, I'd probably have to start my 2026 team with him. Where would you go?
I'd probably go with Fernando. But with that being said, he still has to be so much better.
No, I agree.
But
also, but that just proves he's really important, obviously.
Yeah.
Like critically important.
But hey, look, if you gave me Jackson Merrill with the number 2 pick, I'd be fine with that too.
Yeah, no, I think Merrill's a really good player. And I could see him having a bounce back 2026.
If you were to ask me to do like a draft top 5,
yeah,
I'd probably go Toddy 1, Merrill 2, Manny 3.
So you're not taking any starter. You're not taking Musgrove, Pivetta, Mason Miller.
Pivetta 4, Mason Miller 5.
You're taking Pivetta 4th.
Yeah, starting pitcher.
No, I know he's a starting pitcher.
I know. What do you do? What's your top 5? Like in draft order.
Okay, I'll agree with the top 2. I'm going Toddy. I'm going Merrill. And then from there,
you're gonna have Manny.
I'm gonna go
3.
I am. I'm gonna have my starting pitcher Mason Miller.
Okay.
At number 3.
Okay.
Because I'm drafting. Now I'm thinking about my upside.
Manny lower than 4. Is he gonna be outside your top 5?
I would then probably go Pivetta.
Wow, you hate Manny Machado.
And then I'm probably between like Musgrove, Machado.
Seriously?
No, I mean, I think I could absolutely make the case that Machado would be like 4th or 5th.
What about the bottom 5? Give me like the 5 worst on the team.
It's under contract.
Yeah. Like 1.
I mean, I don't
like 1 being the last player you would want to 5 being like, you know what I mean? So give me your like 5 to 1.
My eyes are closed. I mean, I don't even.
That's fine.
I don't even.
You're not driving.
I mean, Bogarts is in my bottom 5. Fermin's in my bottom 5. If I'm going to be honest. Someone in the middle of their bullpen. Their bullpen's good, but like, I don't know who's under contract for next year that pitches in 5th innings, not 8th innings.
Yuki Matsui.
Yeah, Yuki Matsui and Wandy Peralta would be on that list. Is there anyone I'm
Wandy
missing?
actually pitched well last year, by the way.
Who else am I missing?
How could you forget Elias Diaz?
Is he under contract?
I think so.
What time is it? Okay, we're gonna take a timeout. More on this on the other side. Here until 6 p.m. Jim's back page is still ahead. If you want to weigh in, 70470. Start it with the word team. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, Jim has not seen this developing story. Fascinated to get his reaction. This from the Talking Friars X account, a must follow if you're a baseball fan. This is a must follow. Okay, so if you're not driving, go to X and follow at Talking Friars. All right.
Did you say must mute follow?
Must follow.
Must mute.
Here's the thing. There's me and Jim. Forget about that. Talking Friars is running circles around us. This from Talking Friars. AJ Preller said the Padres have interest in retaining free agent Luis Ariz. The Padres have interest in retaining free agent Luis Ariz. This according to Robert Murray. This is online at this hour. AJ Preller at the GM meetings has interest reportedly in retaining one of the premier hitters for average in baseball, Luis Ariz. What's your reaction to that?
Why?
Yeah, it seems like spend your resources elsewhere, right? Is this a Craig Stammen thing? Likes Luis Ariz, what he brings to the team. You like Schultz's legacy, remember?
Okay.
Protecting Schultz's legacy. Is that a priority for you at all? Bringing back Luis Ariz, his career 300 hitter?
What? Bro, no, done. Like
you're over it?
Over it.
One more season last year?
So I saw enough of Luis Ariz last year. He's not the type of he proved me wrong because I thought that he was a valuable player.
Right, more than just batting average.
Right, even though he never walked, he hits for 0 power, his OPS always sucks. But I made the argument that he's valuable because he never strikes out and he hits for a high average.
Yeah, but that didn't happen last year. I mean, he didn't strike out, but he didn't hit.
He's a completely different player when he's hitting 280 than when he's hitting 320.
Yeah, you know his OPS plus, so that compares his OPS to other major league hitters by average, was below average, 99. His offense was below average, and of course, his only skill set. Jeff Passan said this last year. It was kind of blunt. His only skill set of the tools is his bat. Right. That's the only way he's going to stick in the major leagues. You have to hit for a high average, and he didn't last year. And the thing is, like he wouldn't come absurdly cheap. Like he made decent money last year, and presumably would make decent money again. It seems like a lot to spend on a guy that's only going to hit 280 with singles. You're going to spend $15 million on that type of player. Not a great defender, hits 280 without power.
Yeah. I thought Luis Ariz, I was like, guys, keep Luis Ariz, right? Because they were talking, or there was talks of trading him in the offseason last year. And I was like, dude, he does things that no one else does.
I think I made the same argument. I was on board with bringing him back.
And then he completely proved me wrong by sucking it up this year.
He somehow finished at 292. Do you remember that? Did he finish with like hits in the final weekend or something that didn't mean anything?
Probably.
I don't remember that.
It's the most empty 292 I could ever remember.
327 on base is really low. 719 OPS, blah. 99 OPS plus. Yeah, I think you'd be better served if it's true what Bob Nightengale reports. If it's true what Jeff Passan wrote today, that they have limited resources, that they'll have a limited budget. This is not the way I would use $14 million or $15 million.
I would use that $14 million on a starting pitcher. I would use that $14 million on an actual first baseman, not Luis Ariz.
Yeah, is this the type of piece that is a difference maker for a team? Certainly wasn't last year, right? Below average offense. He was a key part of it. He was in the lineup each and every day, by and large. But yeah, I mean, I think we've seen a little bit of the best and worst, truthfully, Jim. Remember when they traded for him? We're like, wow, this guy falls out of bed with 3 hits. Those first few games, he had a couple of 4-hit games, I want to say. He was impressive to start with San Diego, and I'm with you. I was sold on keeping him in 2025, but I think I've seen enough at this point. And I think they can do better. And I also think they need to find some power. If you can replace Luis Ariz and replace that with someone that is capable of hitting 20 home runs as opposed to 10 home runs, that to me is a win.
I just like, I was so sick. Maybe it was because of Mike Schilt that I was so sick of Luis Ariz, because in the position that Mike Schilt kept putting him in, he was not succeeding, and it was making this offense worse. And by keeping him in the 2-hole, it wasn't optimizing your best lineup. And I think one of the reasons why Luis Ariz never moved down in the lineup is because Mike Schilt talked about it all the time and he kept praising him. He's a 3-time batting champ. There was just no conversation there where Luis Arias would be like, you know what? Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
And nor did Mike Schilt want to do it because I'm not going to say what I want to say, but like he just wouldn't do it.
Wasn't there a moment late in the year, maybe after the Cubs game 3, where Arias is like, "Hey, thanks media, thanks fans, I'm out." Like, as in, I think it would have been surprising to Luis Arias a month ago that he would be back.
I would be very surprised if he's back.
I still would too.
I'd be very surprised if, like, when we talked to Kevin Acee last offseason, he's like, "There's no world where they're going to give Luis Arias this contract, or even they were going to give Jerkson Profar that money." Well, that's the type of money that Luis Arias is going to be looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So are they really going to about face and give that money to Luis Arias? Like, come on, stop.
And I would think Arias will be able to get, like, you're going to go match a deal like 2 or 3 years or.
Now, the one thing that is interesting.
Yeah.
Of the 4 free, like true free agents.
Okay.
What, King, Cease, Arias, O'Hearn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're letting Suarez go by the wayside. Like, he's not coming back.
He's not coming back.
Yeah.
He opted out.
Yeah.
So you can't give him what I'm going to talk about here, which is a qualifying offer. Can you?
No, he's already a free agent.
Right. So he opted out of his deal.
Yeah.
You can't give him a qualifying offer.
O'Hearn's not a qualifying offer guy, is he?
They gave qualifying offers to Cease and King, and they did not to Arias and O'Hearn.
That's because you're not going to pay Arias or O'Hearn $21 million a year.
Right. And so by not doing that, like, do you think there's a possibility because they didn't do that, they're trying to get a deal done with those 2 players?
No. Caesar King?
No. Arias and O'Hearn. Or one of the 2.
No, and I'll explain why on the other side. Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. Stay with us.
All right, this update's brought to you by Mattress Firm. Nico Harrison, he was fired today by the Dallas Mavericks. I wonder why. In NFL news of the day, Travis Hunter, the number 2 overall pick in last year's NFL draft, his season's over. He was placed on IR today after undergoing surgery on his right knee. Need better sleep? Score huge deals on your perfect bed at Mattress Firm's Black Friday sale. Stop in today and let sleep experts find the right upgrade for your unique needs. Mattress Firm, they make sleep easy.
All right, Jon and Jim. Jim's back page coming up. So you just asked a question. Do you think because the Padres didn't offer qualifying offers to Luis Ariz and Ryan O'Hearn, that means maybe there's a world where they want him back, right? Well, here's the issue. Ryan O'Hearn isn't eligible for a qualifying offer. You have to spend the entire year with the team.
That's right.
So he didn't do that. And then Luis Ariz isn't eligible. You want to know why? Because why would you issue him a qualifying offer? You don't want to pay him like 21.5.
Oh, no.
For 1 year. So I think because Ariz isn't worth it and because O'Hearn isn't eligible, the King Cease thing makes perfect sense. Neither are coming back. You'll be compensated for them leaving by offering the qualifying offer. But with Ariz and O'Hearn, I think the Padres would love to have Ryan O'Hearn back. That's my true belief. I think they think that at the right price, he certainly would provide value to them. I wonder if they truly want Luis Ariz back or if that's just Preller, I don't know, positioning something at the GM meetings to be, I don't know, nice. I mean, is he really sitting there contacting Luis Ariz's offseason? Is that your first move this
Are you
offseason?
guys really going to have interest in bringing
That's
back
what I'm
Luis
saying.
Ariz? Like, stop.
It's like, an offseason ago when Jerkson Profar, who did provide value, but at some point, you got the most out of a player and you're not going to pay him what they're going to get as a free agent. You let him go and you say thanks.
Yeah, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
So anyway, I think, again, could O'Hearn be back? Yes. Could Ariz be back? Maybe. I would be surprised by it. And the King Cease thing, no way on Cease in terms of returning. I just don't
No
see
chance.
it.
Zero chance.
The King thing, I would love to hold out hope for it. I'm happy to hold out hope for it, but I think it might be a little bit of false hope. The money is so big for starting pitching.
And if he's going to get over $100 million on the open market, I don't think the Padres are going that route. I really don't. I unfortunately.
Are you worried about you've kind of been saying it, like Jeff Passan's like, hey, limited budget, for the Padres.
Why?
I don't understand a limited budget. You're just freed up so much money.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, if this team this offseason doesn't spend money, it's a problem.
And how can you not spend money?
I'm not saying that go out and spend $1 billion.
Well, I kind of am with King, Cease, Hosmer, not $1 billion, but King, Cease, Hosmer, Ariz. Like you start adding it up, it's a lot per year.
You got to go out and spend, guys. None of this scraping the bottom of the barrel stuff.
Yeah, I'm all for creativity, but if your creativity this offseason is, hey, Mason Miller and Adrian Morejon are in our rotation. Look at our rotation. Yeah, okay. Or you could have just gone out and acquired starting pitching and retained your bullpen.
Yeah, it will be really disappointing, especially if you're a Padres fan. If this team doesn't go out and spend a little money this offseason, after they sell out every single game, merchandise is flying off the shelves. They have money coming off the books. Yeah, they have some really awful contracts, but you got to go out and spend some money. And I think it would be a massive disservice to this fan base if you didn't this offseason.
Completely agree.
And I would point the finger directly at John Seidler.
Right. How much money do they have currently commit? I don't even know. I know Kevin's reported on it. I don't know what they have committed so far. I know they finished last year 7th in payroll, which I think is pretty significant, but I don't know if they're planning to be top 7 next year or if what Bob Nightengale says is true. I mean, Bob Nightengale says they're losing money.
Okay. Bob has no clue.
I don't think he has any
That's
clue.
the theme of the show today. Bob Nightengale has no clue what he's talking about.
Are they really losing money?
No, it's speculation.
Yep.
Small market Padres, they have to be losing money.
Right, exactly.
You don't know jack, dude.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. What do you got?
Can you guess? Because looking at the 2025 NL Manager of the Year tally, Pat Murphy, back-to-back winner of Manager of the Year.
Okay.
For the Brewers. We were wondering, like, oh man, where's Mike Schilt fall on that list?
Yeah, is he top 5?
Not top 5.
Dave Roberts would not be maybe on that list because it's based on regular season, right?
So here's the list of the top managers with as far as like votes go.
Yeah.
Pat Murphy, obviously number 1. He received 27 first place votes.
That's a lot.
Terry Francona,
yeah,
number 2. He received 2 first place votes.
Mm-hmm.
Rob Thompson,
Phillies, yeah,
received 1 first place vote.
Okay.
Then you got Craig Counsell, Clayton McCullough for the Marlins.
Okay.
Torey Lovello.
Yeah, Arizona.
And Mike Schilt got a 3rd place vote. Who voted Mike Schilt for Manager of the Year in this town? Kevin Acey.
I mean, did he?
I want to know who.
Did he?
Who in this
Jeff
town?
Sanders, because that's 2 votes per city.
Right, I know.
Because there's only 15 NL
Who in
cities.
this town had a Manager of the Year vote, if any? And who voted for Mike Schilt?
That's I mean, my mind goes to the 2 voters potentially being from the UT, being Jeff Sanders and Kevin Acey.
Now, knowing what we know, my guess is Kevin did not vote for Mike Schilt if he had a vote for Manager of the Year. I don't think he would vote for Mike Schilt.
Right. I mean, I could make an argument for Mike Schilt being, I don't know, a candidate, I guess, for it. I mean, they had a good enough year. Like, he shouldn't have won it. I think Pat Murphy's the right choice. Milwaukee's regular season was awesome. They had an amazing year. So Pat Murphy probably should have been unanimous with first place votes. I thought Schilt did a fine job. It is interesting. Like, are we going to say a year from now that the Padres missed Mike Schilt in the manager's chair?
No.
I don't tend to see myself saying that.
I did feel this the other day when I listened to Craig Stammen and like doing all his interviews. I kind of was like dozing off a little bit. So like in that aspect, I'm like, I absolutely despised listening to Mike Schilt speak.
But it was so.
But I couldn't like step away from it.
Yeah, Craig Stammen doesn't scream content machine.
Craig Stammen screams like, "Hey, you want a lullaby? You want some like white noise to put you to sleep?"
Yeah,
here's
just like
here's your guy.
He was like a normal guy. It wasn't bad.
No, nothing wrong
it
with
was nothing
it.
bad.
He's just as vanilla as it gets.
Right.
Like you're not getting much from Craig Stammen, if ever. At least Mike Schilt, you'd be like, I have to listen to this press conference.
I can't wait for the first Stammen media run-in.
I don't think there will be.
No,
I don't think
it's
so.
a long year.
There might be. I don't view Craig Stammen as that type of guy. Then again, we have to get to know Craig Stammen on the manager side of things, right?
He does. You're right. He does seem very like smiley and likable. He doesn't seem very confrontational, certainly.
But when he was a player, even when he like gave up 4 home runs that one outing and was not good, like I never remembered Craig Stammen causing drama with the media.
No, you're right.
Unlike Mike Schilt, who was a pain in the ass.
But to me, it was must listen. We'd have those day games on Wednesday.
My
Like, we're going to
gosh.
hear from Mike Schilt coming up, and we would just be.
Dude, we'd have text chains of like, we have to listen to Mike Schilt.
Yeah, we wouldn't start a wrap-up show 8 out of every 10 nights because we waited to hear what he had to say.
Yeah, so from that aspect, I will miss Mike Schilt.
Right.
I will miss him, but I also won't miss him, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree.
Because Craig Stammen
Stammen
ain't going to do it for me, I think.
Stammen, to me, it was interesting that it was Craig Stammen that said yesterday that he hopes to carry on the legacy of Mike Schilt.
Legacy.
I was like, oh, well, that means to me that a lot of the attributes that Mike Schilt possessed is who Craig Stammen hopes to be as a manager.
But the attributes that Craig Stammen wants to possess as a manager isn't like the extracurricular, hey, I'm going to be a total D-bag to the media.
True.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, blow smoke up these players' asses. And I'm going to go out there and say that a player's amazing when he's like 0 for his last 30. And
That'll be interesting to see how he treats it publicly.
Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't envision that. I don't think when I listen to Craig Stammen, I'm like listening to Mike Schilt.
No, I agree with that. I don't think so either.
And by the way, managing style, like, okay, yeah, fine. Mike Schilt was a good manager.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say Mike Schilt was a bad manager. I just couldn't stand the guy as like a person and as like listening to him every day. Like I thought he was just awful to listen to.
Right.
But at the same time, Man, was he good content.
Yeah, he was. I don't have any feel for the type of manager Craig Stammen will be, like in the dugout and outside of it with the media. I don't. I think we probably know who he's going to be with the media. I thought he was very likable yesterday. I was impressed by his overall makeup, which people have said obviously for a long time. I don't have an amazing feel for how he'll be like in that actual chair in the dugout, but I think he'll be fine, would be my guess. Like,
Well,
is he going to be the best manager in baseball? No. Is he going to be the worst? No.
Will, as Craig Goatman in our chat, will you miss Mike Schultz dry mouth?
No.
Will you miss?
We'll just do that during all of Craig's pressers. It'll be like he's there.
Will you miss the water bottle just like sitting there?
What I'll miss is he has a water bottle that he would open. He would take the smallest sip, and then the bottle would be open, and it would have it started with 12 ounces, and he would have 11.99999 ounces in it after his first sip.
I still think the water bottle thing is just like how, post game it's like it's brought to you by Coca-Cola, and they have to have like the bottle of Coke label facing the camera, and half the time they don't drink it. It's just there for product placement.
Mike Schilt. What a 2-year run.
Mike Schilt, man.
Mike Schilt. All right. On the other side, we'll get to Jim's back page here until 6 p.m. is Jon and Jim. All right. I have been intently watching, Jim, a college basketball game between Michigan and Wake Forest. You might be asking, why on earth am I intently watching a college basketball game between Michigan and Wake Forest? And I'll tell you why. Because San Diego State's playing Michigan in about 2 weeks. Take us back from break or whatever.
Okay.
So I'm intently watching Michigan and Wake Forest tied at 80 in the waning seconds in Detroit. Have you been watching this at all?
No.
Okay. They're calling it the Wolverine Deacon Challenge, as if anyone asked for that. The Wolverine Deacon Challenge, but tied at 80, Michigan and Wake Forest.
Do you want to
all of San Diego?
Do you want to wait till this game's over?
Do you want to go longer than 6 p.m. You're saying tonight?
Do you want to go till
I would
7?
do that. I would do that with
do
you.
A little post game
for
show?
you. I would do that.
A little post game of this Michigan game.
I haven't
watched 1 second of it, but I can BS my way through it.
I'll tell you, Michigan's good, but this would be a good win for Wake Forest. They have a very tall player. Michigan. This guy, look how tall that guy is. He's sitting and he looks tall, right?
He's
been blocking everything.
Wow, he's like Wemby.
I mean, I don't know if he's Wemby, but I do think he's pretty good.
If you put Wemby on Michigan, do they win the national title?
Did we do this on air?
We did do this on air.
Did we say Wemby? If Air Force had Wemby, you said undefeated with a natty or just a natty?
No, I said undefeated with a natty.
Brent, did you agree with that or disagree? I think we disagreed with that.
I think you said like 1 loss or something.
No, I don't think they win. I think maybe Elite Eight.
Yeah.
You guys are smoking, man.
Because Wemby's that.
Have you
What if he
watched
fouled
Wemby
out,
lately?
though? What if he fouled out?
He's not fouling out.
What if he had knee
He only
tendonitis?
needs 5 in college to foul out.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. The other night, I think it was against the Bulls. Did you see this?
Probably.
Another crazy like sequence from Wemby. hits a 3,
right?
And then immediately on the other end, blocks a giddy layup, gets the ball, step back 3, nothing but net.
He's good.
I was like, what?
No, he's gonna be good. He already is amazing. But I don't know. You put him on Air Force, they're winning every game.
Yes.
What if you put him on Michigan?
John, he's doing stuff at the NBA level that is insane. And you put him against these college kids?
Yeah, but he hasn't traveled the Mountain West.
Okay.
He hasn't played elevation.
Yeah. He hasn't had to drink beet juice yet.
Right. It's a fascinating conversation. If Victor Wembanyama played Division I basketball, would his team go undefeated?
So Wemby this year.
What's he averaging?
He's averaging 26, 13, and 4.
In the NBA. In how many minutes?
It
can't be more than like 30, right?
34 minutes a game.
And what's his shooting percentage? Field goal percentage?
He's shooting 50% from the field. He's shooting 33% from 3. He's an 84% free throw shooter. Dude,
how many blocks per game?
4 blocks per game. He's averaging, 26, 13, 4 assists, 4 blocks, 1 steal.
How many turnovers?
3.
All year?
No, 3.
Per
He's
game?
averaging 3 per game.
Oh, Air Force is going like 16 and 15 with him.
Stop it.
All right, let's get to it.
You want some Domino's pizza, John?
Yeah, sure. You got some?
You want some Domino's pizza for $6.70?
$6.70?
$6.70.
Yeah, I would love some 670 pizza.
Domino's has released a discount code 67 to make a 1-topping large pizza cost $6.70 for carry out only.
Why are they doing that?
Because
to go with the
why
trend?
not?
It's all because of your guys' Halloween costume.
Is that why?
Right. It's all because of us.
I like that. I'm down. That seems like a deal, right? Today, $6.70 for a pizza is a deal.
For a large pizza?
Yeah, that's a deal. I'm in. Let's go.
The 6-7 stuff is getting
You
way out of
started
hand.
it.
I didn't start anything.
But we continued it.
What's going on?
Look at me on the camera. Dude,
who cares?
We get a new office.
No. It's not the office that's the problem here. It's this stupid thing that holds up the camera.
What is this?
That got ruined. It's fine. What was I saying?
670 pizza.
Oh,
6.7.
Dude, at like college games or high school games now,
I know.
If you're like at 67 points and there's someone's at the free throw line, and then you see all these kids are like, ah!
Well, I saw a meme today. They're like, every teacher had like a frustrated teacher in the class. Is like every teacher dreading having to tell the class to turn to page 67.
Oh my gosh.
I can't.
It's done. Kill it. It's
over. Yeah.
I only have 2 on the back page today. Sorry. For a limited time, Chick-fil-A is testing.
I saw it.
A chicken and waffle sandwich. Way to ruin the story.
But I never know what you're going to say, so I wanted to say it. Chicken and waffle.
A breakfast sandwich and then just a regular sandwich. Chick-fil-A will be testing the chicken waffle sandwich in Baltimore, in San Antonio on December 1st. It will be available in original or spicy. If this thing blows up, nationwide next year.
So just 2 cities initially, Baltimore and San Antonio. Why are they so lucky?
I don't know.
You know,
maybe I don't know. Does Chick-fil-A have like a corporate office in one of those?
I have no idea.
Places?
I have no idea. It's a good question.
It also comes available with syrup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that's smart. I feel like that's going to be popular, right?
Hell yeah.
How would that not be popular? That's what I'm saying.
Give me a chicken strip from Chick-fil-A and a waffle with syrup and bacon. Like, dude, breakfast? Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah,
sign me up, bruh.
Go wrong.
That's all I got.
All right, here's my final back page. This Michigan Wake Forest game, overtime.
Okay, that's great.
Overtime in Detroit tonight.
I'm not staying.
Let's stick around.
Oh, I got one additional.
Let me hear the other one.
Additional one.
Let me hear it.
After 655 days, did you see this? The Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas A's finally turned social media comments back on.
No, what had happened? They had them off that long?
So yeah, for basically 2 years,
that's absurd.
Almost. All of their social media platforms, you couldn't comment on it.
That's ridiculous.
And so they finally turned comments on, and it was a bloodbath.
Well, yeah, because they hadn't had them on for 2 years.
It was.
Are people against their move?
You think? It got ratioed like you've never seen a ratio in your entire life.
And this was where they turned on, like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Where was this all happening? Everywhere?
Well,
like, where were people ripping
on
into them?
X for the most part, and I think also, let's see here, it looks like Instagram as well. Yeah, along with X and their Instagram account, the comments section is now open for people to comment on it.
Have you looked at, like, I'll give you an example. Like, have you looked at Chargers comments in the last year?
No, I could care less about the Chargers.
But you think that it's still the same, right? Isn't it still the same where people are like, move to San Diego or nobody cares, essentially? Like, right? I would assume that everyone still brings up like Spanos and San Diego, and
I think people just are over it now.
Yeah.
People don't care. Like the worst thing that could happen to that franchise is
nobody cares.
It happened. Like nobody cares. No one's even mad. Like no one's mad anymore. They're just like, it's like whatever. We don't care about you.
Yeah. It's like the old wrestling thing. They always say, we want either a positive reaction or a negative reaction. We don't want in the middle. Like we don't want nothing. Yeah, it's quiet. It's bad.
You need a pop. When it's quiet, dude, that's where the Chargers are at.
It's like when Hulk turned heel.
Exactly.
People cared.
I got nothing.
Imagine what they were saying on social media that night.
Right. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to watch Michigan and Wake Forest. Final couple of minutes of overtime. If you missed anything today, sportssd.com, iHeartRadio app, iTunes, TuneIn Radio, or Spotify.
Oh, look, it's on television.
Checking in on that.
Oh, look at that dunk.
That's what I'm saying.
We're tied at 64.
No, we're not. That was earlier.
Oh, just kidding. This is a replay.
We're tied in overtime now. All right, we're back tomorrow for Brent and Jim. I'm John. Keep it here, San Diego Sports 760.
Okay, bye.
It's a great game, though.